guys have the fan on. It gets kind of warm in here.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it is hotter than two mice mating in a wool sock in here for sure.
You guys.
Do you want to? Oh, we can't have the window open. Never mind.
You have such dad references.
Can we work on the ventilation in here for one of your next?
I'll call a guy. Well, you wore a sweater, okay? Both of you wore sweaters.
I know, we did.
Well, it's because I'm on camera. I want to look decent.
I get
You
all
are.
like
Well,
sweaty.
don't worry. We'll start undressing.
Did you gain your COVID-20? Is that why? Or is it zippers down?
Where's the camera pointing? Does this part get shown?
Yeah, there's actually a camera under the table.
We're already live. So
There's a
this is the
point of view
video.
camera right underneath the table.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think you'll like it.
Keep your pants on.
Well, don't tell him that.
they're trying to get some actual podcast downloads.
Yeah,
That's why they called us. They're struggling. It's not going like
He's
Mr.
not
Build
wrong.
It.
He's not wrong. Yeah. Like Brandon, please. You have a flourishing YouTube channel. Please tell me what should I do differently.
How many subs do you have again?
Well, you got to
Podcast or YouTube?
I don't know if there's subs on podcast stuff. I mean, there's
It's
subs
just
on
reviews,
podcast
I
channel.
think. Do you need it?
Podcast is a whole different.
No,
world.
I like it. I'm just gonna be tinkering with things.
We'll put
great.
a little extension on there. Well, you can also come closer to the table.
You
That's
could,
also an option.
Oh,
If
is that
you
what you want me to
want,
do?
yeah.
I'm
Well-
really cozy.
Well, you're basically sitting in the other room.
It's not my fault. You bought this tiny little house with
Yeah.
a
Tiny
terrible
little
podcast
table.
room.
Dude, it took so much effort
Okay,
trying to
there
convince
we
her to actually turn it into a legitimate or a somewhat legitimate.
I wanted it to be an
studio.
office.
She's
not
like,
a
I wanted it to be
podcast
cute. I
studio.
go, we need microphones. We need everything set up. I'm
I'm like, I don't want to have wires everywhere. It looks so ugly, but
Well, is this only for podcasting now, or do you use it as an office too? Then
we have to use
Our
it.
computers are under
yeah.
the table.
That's awesome.
We are legit.
These are humble
Yep.
beginnings.
I love it. No, this is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
We did it all from an
start-
RV. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you guys can do this in a room, you can do it.
Okay, so we'll just jump right into it. So the interesting thing, we actually did a little introduction of you guys on our last episode, because last time we had a guest, Rich Brown, on.
Oh,
and
yes.
Him and his wife bought a fifth wheel and lived over behind the fairgrounds. Like just bought the spot, rented the spot, and then just lived there for a year or two or something like that.
In the
Like a
ghetto.
year,
In
yeah.
the ghetto, right?
I know.
He was sharing the carnies when they were in town. That's
Yep.
where they
Because
stayed.
they were right
I've been
behind the
there.
fairgrounds.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
My parents camped there one time, so we went and
Yep.
stayed
during the
there.
carnival. And so with you guys are interesting because you decided to, right at the beginning of COVID, you decided to just...
Or was
you-
it pre?
No, it was mid. It was
Because
like,
it was
I
last
feel
year.
like it was the
Okay.
foreplay
2020.
of COVID. That's
Mhm.
when you started.
yeah.
Oh, it was the like,
That's March.
it should get better by next spring kind of time of COVID.
Yeah, it's like
I
school
think.
had
Yeah.
shut down and
Is that spring? Was that March already? Or
it was March, and then we didn't decide to do it full time until like August is when we
We
thought
made the
about
decision,
doing it.
and then-
yeah, we made the decision in
Then
August.
that's when we went.
whose
So I
idea
guess
was
tell
it?
us, tell us the story for our listeners who don't know.
Right.
Morses Go Mobile. We, you guys decided to.
By the way, you like that shameless plug? Morses Go Mobile.
Thank you.
Yeah.
YouTube channel Morses
Yeah,
Go
keep
Mobile.
going. Keep going. Hit that subscribe button.
Smash the subscribe button.
Yeah, so just tell us your story of like,
Yeah.
how you guys decided to do what you guys do.
Yeah.
Go on.
So, it's interesting because I think that summer, obviously school had shut down. We all had our kids at home, and we were kind of just talking about like what the next school year was going to look like, whether our kids were going to be home.
Right.
We're two working parents. Like, how is this going to work? We had actually had a camping trip scheduled to one of our favorite camping spots, and you guys know Ponderosa State Park.
Oh,
Oh,
I thought that's your
yes.
favorite. I thought Lagoon. I thought you were going to say Lagoon.
Well, that's
That is-
up there too.
Yeah, favorite amusement park, but Ponderosa State Park, where so many memories, and in beautiful McCall, Idaho.
Right.
And so we were sitting around a fire, and we were just talking about the next year, and we kind of he was like, wouldn't it just be awesome just to get in an RV and just go?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Travel.
and we were kind of. I don't know if you said this because I kind of checked out for a second. I just fell asleep.
You were wondering how you look on
You
camera.
guys tell the
I
story
started
so
looking at-
often.
I started
He's
looking
like-
at where all the cameras are set up. This is
Be honest. Did you put makeup on in the car?
No,
Is that why you're sitting there?
No,
for a
did.
I put some dye in my beard though. It's getting gray. But we were kind of in a little bit of a season of like just overwhelmed. Like we were just overwhelmed by everything, just life in general, from work to kids to all the things that we had going on. And so it kind of put us in that mode of like, okay, we need to make some changes across the board, and it became a massive change.
Yeah.
So yeah, we made the decision, and once we made the decision that camping trip, I remember calling my mom right there, standing in our campsite at Ponderosa, and being
That's
like,
when you made the decision. That was like it.
we literally
Yeah.
made the decision
Oh,
there, and I
awesome.
called my mom, and I just basically said, "What do you think?" I laid it out. I said, "What do you think?" And she paused for a second, and you could kind of like hear the wheels turning
Yeah.
of, wait, my kids are going to leave, so she could say like, no, that's the dumbest idea in the whole world. But what did she pause? And she was like, if I could go back and I had the means to do it, I would totally do it. And I'm like, all right,
Solid,
we're
yeah.
doing this.
You called your mom.
So, my mommy.
For his, that
And
was his,
she's like, I'm packing up my stuff, Mom.
Well, yeah, my mom and I have
Stay with
we're
Amber.
close, okay? We're close. My dad jokes that I had to go with a note to kindergarten that said let Brandon go home to breastfeed at lunchtime. So
I don't know if he was joking.
So that's how
I'm a mommy's
close you
boy.
are, yeah. We should ask him
So-
that
so I
question
can
of
imagine-
who would he rather get a bath by?
That's a good one, actually. We'll ask you. That's like, I can imagine like they just had this like really like life transforming decision that they both made. And he's like, I'm going to go call my mom.
BRB.
yeah, we had to start kind of telling some people. It was a big
Yeah,
decision,
yeah. So then tell us, how did your kids react to that?
Jaden
Yeah.
was 11 or 12 probably at that time, right?
Well, she was
No,
actually,
you don't know how old Jaden is. She's
Well,
almost 16 now.
Oh
Is
my
she
gosh.
really?
yeah.
I freeze kids and people
Yeah.
in the
I
time that I
I'm
met
the
him.
same.
Yeah.
When we went camping, she was 11 at that time,
Yeah,
right?
something
No,
like
I
that.
don't think
12
so.
maybe, 13.
12, yeah.
Maybe
And I was like,
12 or
wait,
13,
like
yeah.
one extra year.
Yeah.
He's so bad with ages, names, everything,
I think
dates,
that's like guys,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Numbers,
She corrects me,
dates.
it's fine.
all the time.
We've been married for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, when's your birthday again?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why you guys are always like on that honeymoon phase, all over each other.
Always.
It's
2
like
years,
50 first
yeah.
dates. You know what I mean? Every time you wake up, you have an amnesia.
Okay, just remember the question because we're always going to go off on the rabbit trail.
Yeah,
with these
you
guys.
are.
know
We
it's
talked
gonna
about
have
this
to
on
work.
our last
Yeah.
podcast too,
Yeah,
about rabbit
so-
trails, because he does that.
Yeah, tie-dye shirts. Go.
Oh, you listen.
Oh,
Oh, thank you for listening.
Yeah, so we had like a 14-year-old at the time, and then the twins were 9. And I think the younger ages, like they're like, go with the flow.
Right.
Of course, our daughter Britton is like a huge homebody, so she was definitely not wanting to leave family or friends. But it was Jaden being 14, she had just gotten on to like student council for high school. She was on
Right.
a traveling competitive dance team.
yeah,
that
she was going to be
worked-
starting her freshman year.
right.
Okay, so just
So
getting
she
into high
was,
school.
like,
Yeah,
excited
that's
for high school.
huge.
That's such a hard time to leave when your kids
Mm-hmm.
are teens because they're so invested and social relationships are so important. So we just knew that we needed to have her buy-in. I wasn't wanting to like drag my teenager all over the country with like a bad attitude every single day.
Right.
So I was
We
like,
didn't want to add to the bad attitude.
And,
You know what I mean? Like,
It's already going to be a bad attitude.
we had enough of that already. Like,
yeah.
turn it up to 11.
So you
Yeah,
knew if she
like-
said like no, it would.
Well, if
You wouldn't
she
be able
was
to do
like
it.
absolutely not dragging her heels, like it might make us be like, man, is this something that's right for our whole family? Like we
Right.
wanted it to be right. We wanted to have buy-in from our kids
Right.
because
Right.
we knew it was
It's
going to
important.
be such a huge adventure. And so we remember that epic morning we were like sitting at the
well, wait,
table.
you have to go back because when we told her, she cried. Like the first thing was
That's right.
tears.
Oh, of course.
And
I would cry.
so
if I was
then
14.
after that, so like maybe a few days.
Everybody
a
would
week-
cry except Brandon. He's like, I'm going to be with my mom.
I'm gonna be with my mom 24/7.
I mean, how am I going to breastfeed still, guys?
We gotta
37-year-old man.
figure out the logistics of all that, and then we're good.
oh man.
But yeah, so a few days went by, so she had some time to like soak it in. It might have been a week to soak it in. And do you want to tell the morning?
Yeah, we
of,
told her
or-
to pray
yeah.
about it. Like, let's just talk about it. And I remember it was like a Saturday morning, and she came down the stairs.
We were having. You gotta tell the whole thing. Don't miss these
Paint the
details.
picture. Paint this
We
homeowner
were
picture.
so we're sitting at our.
What were you wearing?
Brandon's doing
Nothing.
crunches.
Nothing.
Brandon's doing crunches on the ground. All right.
No. We're sitting at our. Okay, you want the picture? We're sitting at our live edge kitchen table. Okay,
Ooh.
nice
Live
wood
edge,
table,
yeah.
live edge.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Purchased
Plug
at
for
Fred Meyer.
Fred Meyer.
Real wood.
Oh yeah.
But we're sitting there and we're kind of doing some research about the trip and like what it's going to look like. And I just remember researching maybe the RV we were going to buy and all that. And she comes downstairs and we have it on video, but she was like, I've been thinking about it. I've really been praying about it. And I think we should do it.
Whoa.
I think we should totally do it. And I mean, it was just like this really big, high emotion moment.
confirmation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I stood up from the table and I was like, all right, that's it. That's what I needed to hear. We're doing this, And
She's like, this could be the best year of my life.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Whoa.
Chills.
What
Yeah.
clicked? Did you ever ask her? Like, what clicked?
Yeah, she talked to some of her friends because she was really into competitive team dance at the time. So every day, literally, that was one of our problems, driving to and from dance every day. But she talked to some of her close dance friends, and they were just like, you should do it. Like, that's a huge experience. Like, nobody gets to do that.
well, and
Right.
like parents were like, man, this to be able to travel like this, like it's not an opportunity that everyone gets every day,
Right.
and
Yeah.
like what this would gain for you and your experience for life. And so I think they just kind of cast the vision about the future. And I think that she has such an adventurous spirit that it's like she didn't want to miss out. She has
Yeah,
huge
she's-
FOMO.
FOMO.
She's
Yeah.
a FOMO.
Yeah.
It's like an equivalency of like traveling abroad, right? You're like you take a summer off and go to Paris and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But you
Yeah,
get to
for
do
sure.
do it in the
Yeah.
country that you're born in.
Yeah. So
your
fast
parents.
forward, we rented our house and got rid of a bunch of stuff. Not enough, but a bunch.
Is that just to
And took off.
downsize, or is it because you're like we need some
Well,
funds to clear up for this RV?
Yeah, because
'Cause you bought a ginormous thing.
Yeah, it was good size. Yeah, I mean, it was just because we didn't want to pay for storage, and we rented our house out maybe 80%, 70% furnished.
Right.
But we had to get rid of all the stuff in the closets and all all the
Jeez.
things in all the spaces. So
Yeah. Which actually we
Yeah.
just got rid of it into boxes and then put it at our parents' house.
like
Right.
my parents' house in the shed,
Defeated
Amber's
us.
parents' house,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the things we
Where can we
kept.
put
But
this?
Yeah.
So between you guys deciding and then actually like taking off, how far apart was that, or when did you guys end up?
we decided like mid to late August, maybe the third week of August, and then we were gone by October 4th.
Oh, that's
or 3rd.
second.
Second,
Yeah.
October 2nd. It was
So you
nuts.
guys are coming up on
Very
your 1
fast.
year then.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude,
Yeah.
we sold her minivan. Like we went after
Yeah.
it.
Do you guys still have that RV?
Nope.
You sold that as well.
We just
sold
sold it a
it?
week ago.
just sold
Because
it.
you guys now.
And you're living with parents right now, right?
Yeah. Is that weird? Not my parents. It's really unfortunate.
Oh,
I
man.
thought I'd get to,
What's your mom's first
those
name?
those nighttime
I
breastfeeding
actually
sessions.
didn't know that your parents lived here. So both of
Oh,
your.
yeah.
parents
Mine are
live
in
here.
Weezer, about an hour and
Okay.
a half.
Oh,
from-
okay. That's
from
why
where
you couldn't.
You guys live. Yep.
Yeah.
What's your mom's name?
Karen.
That's okay.
That's all he needed to know. That's all he needed to know.
So okay,
And it
so
just happens to be Karen. Dang it.
Dang it.
So everybody got on board,
Yep.
and then did you plan out the entire? Because what the plan was like, what, one exact year, or is it more like a
Yeah,
summer?
at that point, the plan was, okay, we're going to leave for a year, 12 months. Boom, we'll be back for the next school year was the plan because we're homeschooling our kids for that year. And we'd be back within a year. So,
And that's why you guys rented your house out, because you were gonna come back. and live
exactly.
there.
At that
Okay.
point, we
Right.
thought,
Yeah.
we love this house. We're going to come back to it. We set it up just the way we wanted it. We loved it. We
So
just
what
lived
was
into it.
your first stop then? You guys kind of went
Lagoon?
Down. Oh, was
Lagoon,
it?
really?
Yes.
That's a
Very
shout out.
first.
That's a good tribute. man.
You know what's
I like
funny?
Did you guys
We're-
go with like friends, or did you guys go
No.
there yourselves?
We were by ourselves.
Well, there's a story there, but I'll tell you, when we were driving out of Boise, someone texted me and was like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Lagoon." And you don't have to like rent out your house and sell everything you own to go to Lagoon. It's 5 hours from us.
I love it.
But yeah, I'll tell you one thing too. The feeling that we had driving out of Boise, knowing that everything we decided was like the most important to us was either in the trailer or in the truck,
Yeah.
cool.
was the most freeing feeling in the world. It was. I just remember
Right.
thinking like, wow.
Now, did you
everything with
cancel
you.
your like bills and stuff like that? I mean, you probably kept your cell phones. Your mortgage is paid by renters.
Yeah, mortgage paid by renters.
Car payment. There's no car
Utilities.
payment.
We had no car payment. We owned our truck.
Interesting.
We sold her van that we had a little car payment on. So, yeah, I mean, our bills went down big time. I mean, you think of the
Right.
day-to-day stuff for kids and like
Oh, yeah.
dance and
right.
all those things.
And what about like mail? Like,
Groceries.
what do you do with mail? Your mail's gonna-
wow, you're really getting down to the weeds.
Well,
I
no,
like it.
gives
I
me-
love
it
it.
gives me
It
Love
does
how
give him
you
anxiety.
It gives me anxiety.
We had everything forwarded to Amber's parents' house.
Okay.
And Amber's
thought
mom
about
went through
it,
things
yeah.
and would just take pictures of things for us if we needed it, or if we needed her to forward things. we would do
Sounds
that.
like you need to pay that.
Where,
Karen.
if you guys needed like a whatever piece
That's
of mail,
Celeste, that's her
how
mom.
would they send it to you?
Yeah, so some of the things like she would actually mail our mail to us. Like if we had a package
Yeah.
that we needed to be like,
Or they came
forwarded
and
or
visited a
something.
couple times throughout the year. They'd bring
They
a
just
box
bring
full
everything.
of crap
Yeah.
with them. Yeah.
Wherever you
Yeah.
were, they would just like make a trip to
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
area.
Yep. they
Yeah, I
came a
guess
couple
if you
times.
don't have a lot of like bills or anything, you're not really needing
No,
and everything's
almost everything's
electronic.
online. I
Yeah.
made as many
Yes,
things online as
thankfully.
possible.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Easier.
Easy.
For sure.
yeah.
Is there a service, and there has to be, like if you are, let's say, okay, we're in Texas right now, and we need to Amazon this thing for the camper. It would be
Lockers,
nice.
maybe.
Is there? Yeah, are there
That's
lockers
one.
that get delivered?
That's one way. We never really did that because we stayed at a lot of RV parks and RV resorts, and they usually are cool with you having packages sent there.
oh, so you can
Really?
do
So
that.
So
we
it's like your address.
maintained the Prime membership for sure.
That's
Spent
nice.
way less though than we would have if we had a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, man, it'd be nice to have like a heated blanket right now.
Yeah.
Like, boom, 2 days
Boom.
Bam.
Hashtag roughing it.
A weighted blanket? Is that what you use?
Well, a heated blanket.
Heated blanket. Yeah.
So what was your trip plan? Well, so Laguna's the first place, and then did you? What's the list that you decided to put on that?
Or did you have one, or did you guys kind of
Yeah.
like go to one place and then decide?
No, Well, I don't want to do all the talking. You go ahead.
Well, I mean, Brandon's strategic, and so he's kind of the strategic planner.
Oh yes,
And
I remember when we went to Lagoon with you guys.
You planned out.
He
You're
planned
like
every
fun between
single-
1 and
yeah.
3. Hard stop at 3:15 for fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sex between midnight and 1 a.m.
Everything's a plan. Sorry,
But
things are
then
still going.
remember you were like, dude, I'm sorry, we have to be done at 3. It's like midnight to midnight.
Lights
Anyway,
on.
sorry, interrupted you. Go ahead.
Oh man,
I gotta reel these guys back.
I know we do. Okay.
You got to control the fun.
It's good. It's good. So strategic planning, just we had some stops that we knew we wanted to make, and so it was like we knew that we right off the gate we wanted to take our kids to Lagoon, and just because we wanted to start out with this like fun experience.
Yeah.
So
a
that
good
was
opener.
really that was strategic, and then we just had some different spots that we wanted to go to, and then it was always like, okay, well, should we go to Moab or St. George? Well, Moab was completely booked, so it's like,
Yeah.
okay, St. George it is for Utah. And
We booked about the first couple months, like really, because our goal was to get to the Florida Keys.
Okay.
And so in order to do that, you have to book way ahead because Florida Keys campgrounds get booked out like way in advance. So we booked that out when we kind of thought, we wanted to be in Florida in December, and then we kind of backfilled everything.
Oh, okay.
You know
That
what I'm
makes
saying?
sense.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. And in order to take Jaden, I had to promise her that we would take her surfing. And so
She's all
I
about the
Googled where could we surf like on the Gulf of Mexico, and South Padre Island, Texas is one of the only.
You ever even heard of that?
South Padres, no.
Yeah, we had no clue it existed.
It's an island off of Texas.
Like a cartel place?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
nicer.
surprisingly, I mean,
Super close to that though.
good Mexican food. Awesome fishing.
Best cocaine you'll find.
Yeah.
It was actually, it's such an awesome place.
5 out of 5.
Is it like
Snort here again.
like just a popular place people know of?
Yes, people
In
vacation.
Texas, they all go
I guess,
there. That's
I
where they
guess
go.
it's a big spring breaker destination, South Padre Island.
Okay.
So
Never heard of it.
I know most people haven't heard of it, but it actually has some pretty decent like surfing, and so
And does she surf, by the way?
well, she wanted to surf.
She loves
Oh,
it.
she's trying to
like
learn.
We
she
got her
wanted
lessons
to
there.
surf. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
I was like, "We'll get you lessons." So I googled like where can you surf, and it was like South Padre Island is one of the best surfing off Gulf of Mexico. It's nothing compared to other surfing places. But I was like just trying to, as a mom, it's like you want your kids to be bought in, and you want them to be excited. So it was just trying to like set this up to where it's like, okay, we're going to go surfing in South Padre Island. That was our first like ocean destination, and that was so cool. So
Yeah.
we had some things where we're like, okay, we're going to hit
Kids
this.
are gonna love this. Yeah.
We want New Orleans. Like we want to go experience culture.
And
some
we
big,
knew
big
that
cities.
we've spent a lot of time in the West, obviously the Northwest, and so we were like, let's get down to the beach as fast as we can. So we kind of hit Utah, and then we hit Arizona, Grand Canyon, that kind of stuff, and then we pretty much booked it down to the Gulf Coast in Texas and worked our way around the Gulf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't go we stayed pretty much on the ocean the whole time.
Did you guys do anything like iconic, like the Mount Rushmore and all that stuff?
We did a lot of things iconic, but not Mount Rushmore.
Not until they put Trump's face.
Well, then it doesn't count.
No, we did. Yeah, I mean, there was so many stops. I think the things that really stand out the most, though, were surrounding the people that we met, which started in Salt Lake. Because you said, did we go to the Lagoon with anybody?
Yeah.
The first place we stayed was Lagoon was booked there, that campground that we
I
loved.
love that they saw the entire country, but we've spent 17 minutes talking about
I know.
Lagoon.
Well, I have to like
Yeah.
preface
We're
one of
back.
the themes of the trip started there.
I'm like, where
Is-
else
Wait,
did
so
you
the
go?
I know.
Lagoon campground was booked out in October?
It was, yeah, we couldn't get in there. So
I'm surprised
I
with
know,
school
right?
and everything.
Yeah, crazy. So we went to the KOA in Salt Lake, which is like 20 minutes away. And at that KOA, our kids met some other kids, started playing. And then we met the parents. And like literally with this family, they ended up going to Lagoon with us. And then we parted ways. And then we went down into Texas. And then we met back up in New Orleans with them. They kind of
Were they doing the same thing, traveling
thing,
for the
full
year?
Like
time-
for a year. They
full-time
left
everything.
Seattle
Same
because
exact thing.
Seattle
Wow.
like was majorly
Yes.
shut
Right.
down.
They had
They
3
bought an
kids,
Airstream.
same ages of our younger 3 kids.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was
Just
nuts.
like during the same
and
thing
just
you
a
guys
blast.
had.
Like, dude,
See
he
you
loves
guys in New
cooking
Orleans,
Mexican
yeah.
food. He likes drinking beers. She likes working out and
Well,
like just all these
dancing.
things.
Yeah.
Dancing,
She's a
yeah.
dance
It was
lady.
great.
That's insane. And so you guys, how many places did you guys hit up together?
So yeah, exactly. We went so Lagoon, New Orleans. After New Orleans, we went. They ended up getting a membership to the same like campground association that we part of, and they went to the Keys with us for 2 weeks.
Fun.
And then at that point, they invited us to
Well, we spent Thanksgiving in South Georgia with them, with their family.
They're
and
originally
then-
from Georgia
Georgia.
and Charleston, South Carolina. So
Right. And so then they were like, well, let's do Christmas in Charleston. You guys need to do Christmas with us in Charleston. And so it was like,
Isn't
oh
that
my
nuts?
gosh.
You know, places to go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Some of these things are big red flags for like swingers. So because and then they invited us.
wait, swinging's a red flag?
Well, depending what.
Why did you guys
yeah.
invite us?
Well, I'm sure you wore a sweater.
I saw a pineapple out on your porch. Come
Yeah.
on.
There's
a couple, yeah.
There's a few things because what is it? Hidden Springs out here. There's the
Yep.
is what's the folklore? Is like it's the
Pineapple.
pineapple up front. It's
There's a few.
But some of them are so generic. They're like if the garage door is slightly open,
Like,
if your
you
light
do
bulbs
that-
are blue or something like that
Wow,
outside.
you know a lot more
if
than
the
I do about
flamingo's
this.
outside, well, if you're part
Oh,
of
I
the
heard
membership,
of the. Yeah.
You get the
He's
email.
part of the
Details.
membership. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
He gets the monthly email.
so you fell in love with this couple, and you guys,
We do
You know what?
love
Thanks for
that.
thanks for
yeah, you
bringing
got
us
into this
that.
Are they-
polyamorous relationship.
Let me ask: are they still traveling right now?
Nope.
No, they actually bought property in like Bend, Oregon.
I was gonna
Whoa.
say, was it Boise?
No.
No, they
Their whole goal was to find out where they wanted to live next because they were in
Yeah.
Seattle and they were just like done with that
Yeah,
after all
not
the
wanting to go
madness
back.
there. Yeah.
It's a great way to
So-
shop around, right? You're
Yeah,
like, let's
it was
just visit that place. For
They
a
bought
week.
a beautiful Airstream, like this awesome $80,000-$90,000 Airstream, and traveled the country. But yeah, it was great because we didn't know where we were going to be for Thanksgiving. We didn't know what we were going to do for Christmas, and we ended up spending it with their family, like and their extended family.
That's
and
so fun.
all these rednecks from the South. It was incredible.
Meeting new people. Yeah.
Did your parents put any kind of pressure on you for like the holidays, like Thanksgiving? You're like, hey, you have to be home for Christmas, or
That's an Amber question.
no pressure. I mean, I think that it was really hard on our family not to have us, but it also made sense. It's like, man, we're going to be all the way on the east side of the United States, so to like fly back just for the holidays, it just doesn't make sense
Right.
for this year that we're trying to adventure. And what's cool is like, I mean, it's hard to even think about spending time away from family for the holidays, and so to have like this couple be like, hey, we want to bring you in like family. And I think that was just one of the many blessings that we just didn't ever even anticipate, is like we didn't have to spend holidays alone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was so
Yeah,
cool.
it was awesome.
You got to
Yeah.
be part of, and then you still got to see like the new places while you were doing that too.
Yeah,
Going
like
to see Charleston. Yeah.
amazing. And on our way to Charleston, we saw Savannah, Georgia, which is similar and amazing. But iconic stops. I mean, the Keys. I mean, working our way up the East Coast after that. We stayed in Florida for 4 months, basically. We got to just travel all around Florida, and she took a travel nurse job there.
Right.
What
So-
was
You
that
guys
like?
were there
How
the
weird
longest, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
we
And
were
we
there
loved
for the
it.
longest.
Was that like
Yeah.
your favorite stop?
I mean, it's definitely a highlight just because of the time we spent
up there. Yeah, it's so up there, but I mean, it's so hard because there's so much beauty all over our
Right.
country, and so it's
it's
hard
hard
for
to
me.
pick
I'm
a
like, gosh,
state.
New
Yeah, it's hard
Orleans
to
was
pick.
so cool, and New York
Everything
was
is so
cool.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything is so different. So, but you were asking me about how travel nursing
Yeah,
was. So
yeah.
yeah, got my feet wet in a travel nurse job.
Is that
and
terrifying?
It was miserable. I was
During
stuck with the
COVID?
kids like for 12 hours at a time while she was working.
Yeah, didn't
I mean, I like the money, but
No, he was supposed to be homeschooling, and he's like, no, I'm just really good at field trips. And
Forget
he would take the
homeschool.
kids
We'll do field
paddleboarding
trips.
out on the ocean. And I'm
Every
like,
day's a
learning
field trip.
lesson.
yeah.
Mother Nature is your
Yes.
left teacher.
Yeah, Brandon won at that. That is absolutely for sure.
Brandon's vaping in the corner.
I did the laundry. I mean, I did it all.
You did.
But let's talk about you. It's not. This isn't about
You,
me.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Although
it's just
I was pretty awesome. during
You
that.
were.
mean-
Brandon was the frontline hero in this scenario.
Now, was
was.
it during the day or did you work night?
no. I did day shifts.
So the 12s?
thankfully,
Yeah.
3 12-hour shifts. So I hadn't worked full time in
My
like
fly's
over
still
10
down. Should I
years.
put that back up yet? Sorry.
It's up to you.
I don't
It
mind.
wanted to
feels
be careful.
freeing.
Which-
Yeah.
You guys got like 20 cameras in here.
It's
Okay, go ahead.
gonna, and we're gonna zoom in.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are you 4K? So you're gonna crop those in too?
Oh yeah. Oh snap! Yeah, we have a green screen behind.
No,
so we'll
you're
give you
gonna.
girth.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So, if you're a regular nurse, like travel nursing is just a whole nother realm, and it is an absolutely whole nother realm of kind of scary. You don't know what
Yeah.
you're getting yourself into, and it was really challenging in some ways, but in other ways, I feel like lifelong friends. And I just
Really?
had a gal text me, and she's like, "Hey, I think we might be coming to Idaho in November," and I'm like.
Crazy,
Well, it's
right?
cold in November,
Yeah.
but girl,
Sure.
come
Yeah.
on.
But there was a
Come on.
progression for you because the first several weeks she was like, "Oh, I hate this. I'm counting down when this is done." Like,
Is it?
it's just
How long did you do it for? 6?
13 weeks?
13
Oh, 13
So
weeks.
it's
Wow.
it's long. And everything is different. Your environment's different. The requirements or standards of care are different. And so I felt like it's just really fast paced learning. Like you have to hit the ground, like running. And so most jobs you get some good orientation. And as a travel nurse, like you're just expected to hit the floor and be able to pull from your experience. And so that was good as far as like a challenge in my career, like to be able to say like, wow, this is challenging me in ways that I've never been challenged before.
You adapted to it. Was the when Brandon said that you were like saying how much you disliked it in the beginning, is it because the standard of care was different in other places, or is it more of like, the conversations, well, the way we did it in my last hospital, like those quotes,
Yes. That's a
good
or is it
question.
more of like, I'm frustrated, this PIN code's not giving me access to this thing, and not PIN code, but like the Omnicell or whatever, right? Like it's not letting me.
Hey,
What's up, girl?
yes, come on, Omnicell.
You remember when you used to work?
This is where I zone out.
I burned
I
my
know.
bridge and I let my license expire, so I'm not crossing that bridge again. But there's some words I could throw back in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, you can.
Pixel. Do you guys have a Pixis or an Omnicell?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
a
yeah.
Pixis.
Wow.
Hell yeah,
back in
Pat.
the
Shout out.
Great question. Standards of care are different. Anytime you go down to the South and even Florida, people will joke about like, it's Florida time. It's the beach vibe, you know? And I'm like, dude,
He's
this
dead.
is like 10 years behind. Like
Yeah.
our-
Idaho, which is crazy.
I know
Yeah.
it's crazy how the Northwest seems kind of progressive. And so it was me like, but it was constantly my mind thinking, well, we did it like this, or we did it like this. And you have to remember that nobody, you're not going to gain friends and influence
Nobody
people when
likes
you're
that.
constantly like, well, we did it like this and we did it like this.
And we were right.
Yes. And we were right. And so it was like, and I just had to step in every shift and be like, I'm here to serve. Like, I'm here to cash in some dollars too.
No,
Like,
yeah,
yes,
I'm like-
I'm here to make some
No,
really
you're
good money.
You're there for the money. Let's get back on the road, babe.
That Prime membership is not going to pay for itself.
Yes. So yes, absolutely making good money. But I had to just in my mindset be like, I'm here to serve. So
Yeah, you're there to help and bring relief. That's the whole point of what
yeah,
travel nurses
you're not
do,
here to
so.
change. You're not here to change policies or any. Even though I did print off articles,
Right.
evidence-based practice, like
and
I
just left
did
it in
all
the
that.
break room and
Yeah.
just left it.
Oh,
Here
you
you
know
go.
I did.
This is
I
how
did.
we check cervixes in the Northwest.
Turns out
Just
you
a
have to use
little.
one needle per patient.
Oh my
Oh, by the way,
God.
she's a labor and delivery nurse. I don't know if we.
yeah. Let's preface that so no one's like, what is happening?
Well, the nice thing is babies come out of the same end, any part of the country you're in. Right?
Yeah.
that is true.
That's right.
There's only 2 routes, so
Yeah.
it's
Wait, there's 2 routes?
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Section.
cesarean. I was like, it goes through the.
Okay.
Not that route.
8th grade biology. Let's
Yes,
just
yeah.
rewind.
So, in 50 words less, how are babies made? Could you run that by?
For the people that don't know.
Explain
Google
the
that.
G-spot.
I feel like all your listeners know. Okay, guys. I feel like I was trying to
all
think
know.
through. Okay, my filter level come into this podcast.
Oh,
Who's
trust
their
me,
audience?
yeah.
No filter. Don't need it.
No. The nice thing is by doing things yourself, you can't get canceled. That's the nice thing.
Yeah, you talked about that a couple weeks ago.
We learned yesterday
Sorry.
or last week that we're like you can still say carny and not get in trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you should be able to say
right?
that. It's a
Well,
noun.
it's getting there. It's probably
is it a verb or it's
well,
a noun?
I mean, nouns and verbs and pronouns are nowadays get people in trouble.
That is
Grammar
Yes,
gets us
yes,
in
yes.
trouble too.
That is true.
So then after Florida, you guys just went north? Like New York?
Yeah, exactly. Went north up the East Coast, and we stopped in South Carolina to see my sister in Greenville, which Greenville, South Carolina is. I don't know if you've ever heard
Never
of that.
been
but
there. It's beautiful. I've
super
heard of
trendy
it.
spot.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a kind of a Boise vibe
Oh, really?
of
Yeah.
like a downtown Boise vibe. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah,
What's
we worked
New
our way-
York like? Where do you go to New York to park a camper?
Bro, okay. Coming back to the theme of like who we meet along the way. Someone reaches out on our Instagram and is like, she happens to be someone I went to high school with. I haven't seen her in 20 years. Jeez,
Cute.
how old
Cute.
are we? Yeah.
She's beautiful.
Seisha. Seisha's
I'll say
beautiful.
that.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
beautiful.
but she reached out and she's like, "You guys have to come to New York. We live on Staten Island. Her and her husband are both optometrists there. They live on Staten Island." She's like, "This is the only place anywhere close to New York that you can park an RV." And so I'm like, "Well, I'm all looking on maps. I'm
Yeah.
like, what about
go.
bridges? What about like, can we make all the turns on the streets? Is there like overhead cables that are hanging
Oh,
low? Like, you got to
gosh,
think about all
yeah.
these things." And I get stressed out. But Amber and I are like, okay, let's just do it. She's like, no, our house is great. It has a big frontage area of the road. You can just park on the street. So just picture like an older version of a subdivision in Meridian, but houses are closer together, you know? And so, yeah, we pull up in front of her house and we parked our RV right there and stayed at their kind of,
and they took us all around New York, which is
It was
honestly,
incredible.
if you can find people that are locals, I feel like that's the best way to experience
Absolutely.
They
culture.
fed us. They
Oh,
let us use their
100%,
washer and
yeah.
dryer, which is
Yeah.
huge.
Wow, that's some
awesome.
And then
hospitality.
she basically literally straight up booked everything, like
Really?
for New York, like going into the Freedom
This is where
Tower.
you need to go, yeah.
Go to do this. Like she booked all our tours and all.
And I didn't
this
have to
and
Google anything, and I felt like that decision fatigue hits you as you're traveling because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
constantly like,
What
how
are
do
we
you
gonna
be
do?
present and experience what you're experiencing, but how do you plan ahead? And by planning
And
ahead, you have
and
to
you know
Google
and edit
everything.
videos.
Oh
You know,
my
all the
gosh.
same
And
time.
how do we hit like all of the like things that we want to hit
Yeah.
in this particular
Yes.
like
Yeah.
city? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
What's the what are like the best places to eat? And I don't
Oh.
know. When locals can just tell you.
Yeah.
it's
And
like,
you just
oh,
go with them. And honestly, I was like, I'm not going to research anything.
Especially New York.
Everything that we
That's-
experience
awesome.
in New York is
Overwhelming.
going to be through them,
Yeah.
and that was the best.
And
way
it was
to
a highlight. I'd say that's
experience
one of
it.
those. What did you ask? An iconic stop. New York City was
Yeah.
huge.
Was it
for
your
us.
guys' first time?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
she had
It
been there
wasn't mine.
when she was in high school.
16. My
Yeah.
mom took me for like my
So-
16th birthday,
Yeah.
which was awesome.
Yeah. So it was a little
and
bit
our
of a
kids,
bit
though.
different experience.
Yes,
yeah.
but Jaden, it was like she has this vision of like, I'm going to live in New York.
Oh yeah.
And
She's into fashion and you know.
Right.
all
And
that.
so it was so fun to see like she and Brandon had said he was kind of worried about the safety in New York. And I think that's one of the things that's like the media. I mean, crime increasing and you're just not sure like.
Well, you know,
man,
like we were on the road when all the riots and things like that
Right.
happened. So
Right.
I'm sitting there thinking like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to stop at some of these big cities.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Brandon was really nervous for a family. And I remember this like argument between him and Jaden because he's like, Jaden, like, I'm going to keep our family safe. And she's like, we have to go to New York. And so just.
There's a really good Antifa rally right now that I really want to check out.
Gosh.
Dad, where's the bike lock?
yeah, right.
Man. But thankfully.
It turned out awesome.
It
Like,
turned out to be
it was right as New York was kind of
incredible.
reopening, and so there was this like vibe. Everybody was excited, and you know, you could just tell there was kind of a
Yes.
exciting vibe, kind of positive
Everybody
vibe
was
going on there.
happy
Yeah.
to be out
Yep.
again.
Yeah.
So it ended up being. I mean, it kind of debunked a lot of my assumptions I had. You know, just of hearing. I think from growing in a
Right.
small town, you know, conservative, of like big cities like that.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like we never felt unsafe, and it was a
Right.
blast. And even Seisha, who was and her husband, who were taking us around, they're like, you know, we bring our kids here all the time. Like, don't be afraid. It's
Yeah.
great.
That's
So,
interesting.
Right.
It did you feel like with Jaden that you had to be like almost like the yes parent all the time because you're like, I want this to be this memorable experience and I got you on board. So if you want to go surfing, we'll
Especially
go
for a
surfing.
teenager,
If you want
yeah.
filet mignon, we'll get you filet mignon. Like what was like she's like, it'd be really nice to have a convertible around the town.
That's a
good
great
question.
question
Yeah.
because I am the yes parent and he is the no parent.
no.
Really,
Oh, I
that's a
think
really
we're the
good one.
same.
We're
What's
gonna
the
clip
cost?
that. We're gonna clip that, turn it into a ringtone.
Yeah. He's like his first response like he naturally wants to say like no.
No. No. There's your
Yeah.
ringtone. No.
Yes.
No.
Get it,
And
get it,
yeah.
get it, get it.
Yeah.
And so how did that work out with Jaden?
So we just had to like we're not like this is not like a when you go all out for a vacation like you have a vacation for a week or 2 weeks and you're just going
You
all
do all
out.
the things,
You
yeah.
cannot sustain
Yeah,
that.
that's hard. Like,
for
when your life is a vacation, you
a
have to kind of
prolonged
like.
period of time. So we had to say no to some things. Like we had to look into. It's like yes, we did parasailing in Florida, but we didn't do all the things. And so I think and that's okay to do that. We couldn't treat our whole life like a vacation. So it's not like we weren't eating out all the time but we did some eating out and we just had to pick and choose like what would be the best for our whole family.
And it
so,
took a couple months to get in
Yeah.
that zone. Like right when we left, right? You're like immediately you leave and you're at
like the kids
Lagoon,
want to
you're
get
like,
snacks at every gas
"Vacation!"
station and you're like, we will be at a gas station all the time. You will not be getting snacks. And then the kids stop asking for things after a while. It's like, no,
you say no so many times.
yeah.
Bro,
No, Brandon's like, do they
$700
stop
a month on
asking?
diesel.
Really?
Average across 12,
700
11
bucks.
months.
Well,
$700
I'm
a
trying to
month.
figure out if it's not bad. I mean, it's
No, I mean,
A
it's part of
month,
the cost.
700.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I averaged out the total that we spent on fuel
Yeah.
for the whole trip, and it was about $700 a month.
Well,
yeah.
actually, one of the questions I want to ask is: so you picked up traveling position only in Florida, right?
Right.
And so,
So
and
he
I-
wants to know how much money.
Right. Well, no. The question is like, if somebody makes a decision to travel for a year and your mortgage is being paid plus maybe a little bit extra is
A
coming.
lot
your way-
extra.
A lot
Market's
extra.
good here. You know that.
Well, okay. So
Oh,
maybe that
yeah.
was the thing. I was like, so your income to actually spend on diesel and for food and travel and all that
Yeah.
stuff, is that coming from the rental properties and all that stuff?
Yeah, so we have a couple duplexes in Nampa, nearby here where we live, right? And then renting out our house, and just the market here is insane. So rents have gone up, so everything's done well. So that's that was like our guaranteed income every month, you know. And then, you know, randomly, I've talked to you about this early on. I picked up a small contract with the manufacturer of our RV to do some content creation. So that was an addition. And then stopping there in Florida was like, bam, let's make some big money real quick.
Was that a decision you guys made like on the spot, or did you know you kind of wanted to do that at some point?
As far as like the travel nursing thing, well, I mean, I think for us too, like I had always worked in my career. It's like I'd worked part-time, but I've always been a part of my career. And so I was like, man, it's hard if you lay something down for a year. It can be, you could be less desirable, not in this market, but you could be less desirable because you've been out of the
really desirable.
You are the most desirable.
Still got it.
No, they still like RTs. That's true. You guys are very important.
Oh, I wasn't talking about the RT part.
He was just saying
He was talking about
in
sexual
general.
attraction.
Yeah.
He's sexually confused.
Just saying as a guy.
But I think, and this just some props to Brandon, just with budgeting.
Let's get an extra microphone out.
Yeah.
Put all the mics towards Amber at this point.
Also say it really slowly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Props to
right.
Brandon.
Cut the
You guys,
props to
can you stop
Brandon.
interrupting her?
Just being a budgeter, like, and learning how to figure out how to live on budget and not being in debt, not being in like stupid debt. And so
Yeah, that was a huge part of it. Is
Yeah.
that we didn't have a bunch of debt to deal with.
Was that before or after his $9,000 mountain bike?
Oh.
Six.
that's a little high. A little high.
You buy, sell, buy,
that's
sell.
budgeting, right? So it wasn't 9, it was 6. There you
Yeah.
go.
I mean, how much money have you made off selling tools, right? Come on.
Did you?
Yeah, so we were.
Oh no, you kept it. I was gonna say you didn't sell it.
No,
did
I
you?
brought that with me because
With you, of
we
course.
had a mountain bike. But
Yeah.
no, we were in a good spot leading up to this because we had, previous years paid off school loans and
Yeah,
like we
you've
didn't
done
have,
a lot of hard work.
We didn't have debt
yeah.
in cars and all these credit card debt
Yeah.
and things. It was just we were in a good spot. So
Yeah. And that freed up the way. And then I think it just like strategically, like, man, how could I maybe keep my skills up in my career
and make a lot of money really fast.
and make some really good money in a short amount of time.
Right.
And so it was hard as they're recruiting me and I'm like, yeah, so I only want to take one assignment. And they're like, one? And I'm like, yeah.
Are you sure?
Like, I just want to get in
just
13 weeks work, get out, and we're going to keep traveling.
So people usually take one assignment and they plan the next assignment right at the same time?
Yeah,
Is that-
you start planning your next assignment like 4 weeks before you're done with your first assignment, about 4 weeks when you have left, and then you start.
Okay, Amber,
the
everybody,
next
they want to
assignment.
know, everybody that's listening wants to know, like, what do travel nurses make? Give them kind of like the...
Because you guys get a signing bonus, first of all, right?
It just depends. It depends on it's all the same. Like, and that's the thing you have to realize is
Just get
whatever
to the
they're
point.
trying
What do
to
they
pull
make?
you
Like, what do
with.
they make, Amber? Everybody wants to know.
So I would say like right now, low end. Yeah, this is hard because this also depends on what
She doesn't wanna say it.
What your
No.
no, it's hard. It depends
No,
on
but
what
it's different
your
around the country,
specialty
different
is.
states, different specialties.
Right.
But in her line, which is labor and delivery.
Yeah, on average, right now, I would say.
Sorry, do you clear your throat in the mic or do you like...
In the mic, yeah.
Always into the
ASMR
mic.
for people.
I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm so
Well,
sorry.
look at all that COVID.
Hey, it's all right.
Okay.
It's okay. You can have that mic with you, by the way. It's our gift to you.
Please take your mic.
Look at these people are dying to hear how much travel nurses make, guys.
How much
Now-
you travel?
How else can we drag it out?
Yeah, let's see. How much longer do we have on the podcast?
And this is where we go to commercial break. To keep the suspense
Okay,
going.
commercial
some
break.
words from
At
our
Morses Go
sponsors.
Mobile. Subscribe. It's a
Check it
YouTube
out.
channel. We've been traveling and documenting all our travels. Go check it out. There's your... Okay. So
Plug.
Man.
And now she can say
He knows how the biz works.
yeah.
All right, are you guys ready for this
Yes,
rate?
yes.
Okay, so according to my specialty, probably an average rate right now would be anywhere between $2,000 to $4,000 a week.
Jeez.
For med-surg nurses, telemetry nurses, emergency department nurses, I'm seeing rates $7,000 to $10,000 a week.
Jeez.
For some
it's,
crisis
I mean, it's
rates.
no like YouTube influencer, slash hashtag
I'm
Mr.
shutting
Build
this
It.
YouTube thing down. I think I'm going to go pick up some traveling
Travel.
assignments.
Yeah.
Travel RT.
I mean, it's no Home Depot contract, but
Yeah. So the higher the need, the higher the price, and those rates have been increasing. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Did you get signing bonuses too?
I didn't. Did I get a sign-on bonus?
they don't. But the people that are
You should
really
at least
raking
let
it
me
in,
negotiate your contract.
yeah, right, for sure. The people that are raking in are the frontline workers right now,
Mm-hmm.
like the ones that are on the COVID contracts, and
raking it in and
Not living
they're
their life.
exhausted
Yeah.
and
right.
questioning
You
their
hope
whole
they are
career
getting paid
choice.
well, for sure.
All of my friends that I keep running into from the hospital, they're all just like so exhausted. They're like, they're done. They're like emotionally drained. Everybody's, because people, what ends up happening is they're not only drained because like they're always working, but because other people are burnt out and they'll call in sick when they're not sick. And then therefore you're always constantly short staffed. So you're constantly kind of like picking up the slack because somebody else is just
and
burnt
you're
out.
just running. You're just ran into the ground. And I think that, and some nurses are to the point where it's like, it doesn't matter how much money you dangle in front of me. Like I can't sustain this. And so this is just a plug for all those healthcare workers out there that like, I'm so thankful that they're showing up, taking care of people.
Yeah.
But if you're their spouse, you're kind of like, well, how much money?
Right.
How much you can do this?
It was really frustrating. It
Yeah.
was really frustrating when I went into respiratory. I never considered the perspective that you're going into a career that never shuts the lights off. Like Home Depot will turn the lights off, right? And they might not be open on Memorial Day or something like that.
Right.
But you hear at this machine that's always open, always running, and sometimes it's slower, but most times it's busier. And I never considered that. It's like, I think for me, and I can't speak for everybody in healthcare, I think to me, I allowed I don't know what the best way I allowed like an ego thing to get in the way where I was like, I am going to be helping people kind of thing. I'm going to be working in the ER. I'm going to be working in the ICU. And it's just like this chip on my shoulder. But then after a while, it gets really old. And then that's when you're
job,
like, I don't care what you dangle in front of me. Like, I just want to go and enjoy my weekend at home. You know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you value that time with family and all of that. And those holidays and those weekends, like you start to realize like, you know, you give up a lot working for an entity that is constant 24/7. So that was something that just on our travels too, it was really awesome. Like it was the first time I ever got to have Thanksgiving, Christmas, like
all the holidays.
That bulk of holidays on the front end, and not to worry about working Christmas and missing Christmas with my kids.
Or being on call, right? Like
all of that.
For sure.
That's tough.
Big plug for all you frontline peeps and all you healthcare workers. That's huge.
Big,
Keep
right
on
now.
keeping on, for sure.
So, moving on. At what point? Because
we already told you how much money they make.
Yeah,
okay?
It's a lot of
we
money.
need more. We need more
should go back to
information.
school.
Like, what else do you want to know?
So
they have sex between 12 and 1, and we know how much money they make. What else is there
it.
to know about the Morses Go Mobile?
Yeah, try me.
that's them in the
Clearly
night.
we'll tell you
Not awake
anything.
at midnight. I can tell you that right now.
Well,
You guys had a big announcement recently.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
yes, that's a good one. So, partway through the trip, you know, because we talked about, hey, we're going to do this for a year. Well,
Right.
it didn't take long to realize that no, we're doing this for more than a year, but it just wasn't going to be RVing full time. We just, once we cut the cord from, I think, normal life, you know, I think you guys have even felt, I was thinking about you guys, you felt this because you've set up your life in a way that you're not tied to the 9 to 5, to the grind, to the rat
Right.
race necessarily.
Yes.
And that's huge. And so once
It's very freeing.
Yeah.
I agree.
once we experienced that, it was kind of like, well, what's next? And I'll let Amber share.
Well, I mean, I would say like, I think even like 3 months in.
I'll allow you to share.
I will allow.
Go ahead.
Thanks, babe.
He's such an angel.
Oh
You're
gosh, she's a
you're
good
such
guy,
a
guys.
nice,
He's
yeah,
a good
such
guy.
a great guy.
Go
Like
ahead,
3
babe.
months
You can have
in, we had been watching this like full-time YouTube family that's like a sailing family. They have 4 kids.
For
We'd watched
5
them
years, right?
for
Like-
almost like 5
Wow.
years, and you don't ever think that that's even attainable because it's so far out there. But I think once we started RVing full time and we realized like, oh my gosh, we didn't even think that we could ever do this.
We used to love
So-
watching it. It was a family of 6, like 4 kids like us that lived on a sailboat and traveled the world, and we're like, this
Even
is crazy.
before you guys were RVing?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
way before.
We've been
before we
watching
even watched. We
them.
never even watched RV channels. Like
What's their channel?
Sailing Zatara.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
check it out. They've got, I don't know, 400,000 or 500,000 subscribers.
Did you ever watch Mr. Build It?
He's a poser.
builds cool stuff.
I heard he hires people.
I just look for the episodes when his wife is on.
Yeah.
She
She's a
really
dime
makes
piece.
it better, huh?
She's a
Yes.
dime piece.
Yes, she
Did you see
does.
the fountain that they make with her shorts? Good God.
Oh, what? I missed that one. I'll take it back on.
He makes fun of the outfits I not outfits, the attire
She'll
I
wear
wear
like a
when I come
romper
to
and
work.
Crocs.
Okay, she rocked that romper in Lagoon though.
Yeah.
I was like, girl, she's camping and she's
I don't
looking
have work
cute.
clothes. I'm like, what am I going
No.
to wear? Of course I'm
Love
going to wear my
it.
Crocs and just,
Yeah.
Yes.
you know,
So sailing's
my
attire.
mom jeans.
Yes.
They inspired us back then, but we just thought there's no way we could do this. Like we've never sailed. We live in Idaho. Like
Yeah.
sailing.
Yeah.
Never sailed.
Which is
a day
funny.
in
We
our
have
life.
scuba shops around here. I was like, where are you going scuba diving?
Yeah,
That's
Lake
funny,
Lowell, which is
right?
not a lake, it's a reservoir. Reservoir diving.
It's murky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think like we had watched them and we thought that's really cool. But it was like for us, it was like just this RV adventure, just experience, give our kids experiences over things. And it wasn't too far into our trip where it's like, you keep watching this family and it's
Well, and
like,
Jaden started watching
Yeah,
other
that's
channels,
true.
and we've been watching other channels. But yeah.
And we caught wind of some other sailing channels too that we just absolutely love watching. And so it was kind of like, man, if we could do this, like if we stepped out in courage in this one thing, like why couldn't we do this next thing? Like I'd always wanted to travel more globally with my children. And it's like when you have 4 kids and trying to figure out how to plane tickets and all of that, it's crazy. So
Yeah.
it's actually sailing is a way of getting to these incredible destinations.
Brandon, we don't allow texting during our podcast.
I'm not texting. I'm looking up a definition.
He's looking up words.
I'm looking up a verse for you, actually.
I
forget.
pressed on my heart to
It's
share this
in
with
Proverbs. It talks about how a wife should not be a leaky roof.
33.
She shouldn't be like a leaky roof.
you. I think we're trying to get you followers
Dripping and
not
nagging,
take
like the
followers
nagging.
away
I
from
know.
your channel.
Oh my goodness.
No, actually, I was just looking up because it's the definition of mobile, like why we called our channel Morses Go Mobile,
Yeah.
which mobile
Yeah.
means able to move and be moved freely or easily. And that was like kind of big
It's
for
a
us.
big
And
one.
I
so-
could have
Yeah.
told you that. And English is my second language.
You had to look it up.
Yeah, but you would have said it with a slight Russian accent. We'd be like,
Yeah.
where's this guy from?
Were
Yeah.
you stupid? It means like you can move things, bro.
Yeah. Yep. See. Yep. Exactly.
I was trying to get deep, and then you ruin it
Just
every
move
time.
or be
just
moved.
lightened the mood a little bit.
My
So-
6-year-old would have told you that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think for us, and it's like when we started discussing this, like, could we do that? Like, and it's absolutely frightening. Like I would have panic attacks where I couldn't even breathe just thinking about doing that.
Like being in the ocean, being on a
Being
boat.
in the ocean. That's so
So
fearful
if you
to
haven't
me. Yeah.
figured out what we're doing next, the answer is we're going to be going sailing. We're not RVing full time anymore. We sold our RV, and our house is now for sale, and we're selling everything. All the crap that we thought we were going to save to use, we are now getting rid of all of it.
To buy a
And
sailboat?
we're buying a sailing catamaran, like a 45-foot sailing catamaran.
And do you have experience sailing? Or do you watch? Or
I
you
mean,
one of those
I've
guys like I watch
watched
some
YouTube.
YouTube channel?
Yeah,
That's
It's-
enough.
I mean, people watch you like knock down a wall, and they think they know how to do
Yeah.
it.
But
So
then I
what's
call
the
a
difference?
guy.
He's going to call a guy.
So when we were in Florida, after her work assignment there, I took a 7-day like live aboard sailing course, and so that doesn't necessarily mean I know what I'm doing. But
Was
I
it virtual
got
or was it
certified.
actually in person?
No, it was in person.
Oh, in
Like you
person.
live aboard.
Yeah.
So I was gone for like 6 days, 4 nights, something like that, and we sailed, and I passed like 4 different tests for the ASA sailing. So that got my feet wet, pun intended. And then, but yeah,
Dad
no,
jokes.
not a lot of experience, but
Yeah.
some things have happened since then. We met some people. I'm going to be going to help sail a boat down from New York down to Florida at the end of October. That'll be a huge experience of like a
Yeah.
10-day passage down.
Yeah.
So there's all of that, and then when we get on the boat, we won't just like, okay, we're gonna go across the Atlantic.
Right.
It'll be like we'll stick
Slow.
around Florida, we'll learn, get experience. Yeah.
Is it
And when
because-
does that start? Do you know?
Yeah. Well, once our house sells and we turn all of the things we own into money, we will buy a boat, and then we hope to be around here until like the holidays,
And then
so that we can spend the
take off
holidays with the
after that.
families and then take off. Yeah.
And then what is the plan? Is a year?
No.
On the sea, or
just as long as you want.
The plan is
So then this is going to
Until
be
you
what you're
guys
doing.
stop
You guys
sending
aren't
us
going
money.
back to like
you guys
RVing.
are irresponsible
Nope.
children. You need to buy a home, invest in real estate. No, I'm kidding. This is it's making my
Aren't
palms
we older
sweat.
than you?
My palms are sweating because you're like
you're stressed out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I didn't know
you're
you
like-
were that like responsible.
No, I'm not saying what you're doing is irresponsible. I'm joking about that, but it's just like the idea of being the sea terrifies me. The
Yeah.
ocean, the fact that we only
Yes.
know like 20% of what's below our ocean,
Yeah.
is the
Yes.
fact that we know the deepest part. I think
He's
since
still so
2016.
scared of the ocean.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
So,
just, it's
Are you guys going
it's
to come visit
space.
us?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're like at a marina,
You guys have been in Greece because we're
wakeboarding
going to
off
go
of
there
it.
next
I'm not kidding. Like, fly down to
summer.
the Caribbean. We'll
Oh.
do some island hopping.
Yes.
You'll get a
We're
going to
be in Greece
Yeah.
next summer. So how about you just
We can
pick
meet
us up
you
in Greece?
I don't know that we'll be in the
You have to take us
Mediterranean
sailing.
until after we decide we're going to cross the Atlantic. But
Are the
we're-
waters
some
more
point.
calm until you get to the Atlantic? Is that what that situation is?
Not necessarily.
Or you're not going to the Atlantic because
No.
what happened with the Titanic?
No, the Atlantic is just
the
that
Titanic.
people cross the Atlantic all the time.
Nice one.
Well, I didn't get it. Was it funny?
It was really cute.
Because the Titanic. You think they crossed it? Maybe they did cross the Atlantic. Did they?
Atlantic, Titan.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you cross the Atlantic, it's like a 20-ish day passage. So you're like out there in the middle of nowhere on your own.
Yeah, you have to know what
you
you're doing.
provision. You have to have enough food. You have to be experienced. So
Yes.
it's a goal. We want to do that,
Yes.
but it's a matter of when.
Like I want to go to Fiji. I want to take my kids to Fiji. But we need to be safe sailors.
Yeah.
In order to do
Before,
that,
yeah.
Are you thinking about storms or anything like that?
Storms.
Yeah.
What are those?
What are those?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a big part of it, and that's part of just the experience. But with the technology now, there's these
It's the safest time to
apps
sail
and
more than ever.
programs
just
that
because
you
of
use that
the technology.
literally.
Right.
Oh,
Well,
you can see the travel.
It'll
and
give
path
you
of that
a
storm,
weather
right?
model for the next 30 days.
Oh, you're not
So-
listening to Larry Gebert?
No, I don't think we will have access to Larry Gebert from Channel 7. Thank you, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Lying Larry, as we like to call him.
Yeah,
in
that's
part
what
of
everybody
town.
calls him, right? But yeah, there's so much technology now that all of that, becomes a lot easier. There's still a lot of fears, and I think that's what we're
Yeah.
excited for is to
Right.
like actually face those and
Yeah.
I think learning that like we
It's
can
a whole
we
nother
can overcome
level.
stuff.
Yeah. Travel.
And
Yeah.
so with Jaden, then what's the story? Because you originally convinced her to be like, "Hey, this is a year. Commit to a
Yeah.
year." She committed to a year, and now she's like, "You're committed to indefinite." Like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Yep.
Well, I mean, we told her if you really feel like you need a senior year experience,
We'll ship you back.
like yes, either we could come back for a certain period of time, and families do that, and I think that that's healthy to do, like especially for families that are traveling, to schedule time to come home, be with family, be with some home
Right.
friends,
Yeah.
and then go back out. And I think that that's really healthy to do. So we just said we're not against that. If you're like in your heart, you're like, I need to have a senior year, or I'm going to be in counseling later in life because my parents took me on a sailboat, and I missed my senior year.
Yeah, but we don't
of
know
high
how long.
school.
I think back to the how long we don't know. I mean, we're going all in on this one, right? We're selling our house.
Is
We're
she
selling all
a
the things.
sophomore or junior?
She's
a
this year.
sophomore.
Okay.
And she doesn't know. And I think this is what's so cool. When we came back, I think I had this worry inside me, my kids, like, are we going to get back? And then we're going to want to like backpedal because we
Like,
love our community.
yeah.
We love our friends. We love our church. We love all these things. And then we're going to be like, but we announced that we were going to go sailing.
Yeah, so
And
now we got to do it, right? That's
now-
why I put it on YouTube.
Yeah, right?
Can't go back.
Yeah, you
Morses Go
can't
Mobile.
go back,
Remember that?
right?
Morses Go Mobile.
What is the name of your YouTube channel
Edit,
again?
edit,
One more
You guys have
time.
a YouTube channel, no?
Yeah.
So tell us.
Kyle, bleep every time he says people think he's cursing.
So, but here's what's crazy is like we get back and I'm driving kids to and from every single thing. Jaden has kind of a breakdown and she's like, this is overwhelming and busy here.
Yeah,
and
she
I was
broke
like,
out into tears one night, like after the second week of school
too
started,
much.
and she just said, "It's so busy here." She said,
Yes.
this is a 16-year-old girl, right?"
Right.
Like,
and she is busy because she's so social and she's doing all the things, but it's crazy to think that in our hearts, and I was driving yesterday and just the traffic and everything, and I was like, this is a good life. It's good here.
it's like
But
perfect here.
it's-
Like, that's why
it's-
everybody wants to move
yeah,
here.
everything
It's
loves it
good.
here.
I mean,
Yeah.
all I'm doing is driving, taking kids, picking them up, and all of that. But in my heart, I just am craving what we experienced as a family, the experiences that we had as a family. I'm craving that for our family in this next adventure. And so I'm not backpedaling. Like, if anything, it's like, you know what? I have complete peace and confirmation that this
Yeah.
is what our family should do next. It's in Jaden's heart. I feel like she's captivated by it. She's enjoying every bit of high school life right now, but we haven't lost sight of like what this next adventure is going to do for our family and the experiences, the shared experiences. That
So
we're
the
gonna
craving
have.
that you're having, was the craving more of like this adventure, or is the craving like we're all together and nobody needs to be anywhere right now?
Oh, I mean,
Great
just
question.
the simplicity of life was so nice. Is that what you're asking?
And not like the
What?
like the busyness.
Well, I'm talking about her feelings
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
So you said,
Well,
I
I don't-
believe the
Over,
question was
Brandon.
directed
I don't
at
have
Amber.
feelings.
what Amber was
I don't have
craving.
feelings, so I pretty much fabricate just for the
Yeah.
conversation.
What Amber's craving is
Yeah.
Midnight.
No, I mean, that's a really good question because we had some friends ask you, like, is it just this desire for like the next adventure? And like, I am not an adrenaline junkie. I would not describe myself as that I'm not easily satisfied. And I just, what's the next thing that I need? It's not that at all. It's the simplicity of shared experience. And yes, being together as a family is a lot of work. We know this with when we're around our kids all the time. But when you experience different and new things together and you learn together, there's something amazing that happens, just this family bond that happens. And I think I tasted it.
Even in the midst of all the arguing, you know,
Yeah.
you're like, it doesn't stop, you know.
in the midst
Oh,
of
it
a
doesn't?
small
I thought it
space.
did.
No, we pretty much argued in 350 square feet, and kids fought just as much as they did in our 3,000 square foot
Yes.
house. So
Yeah, and that's what
No
we learned
changes.
too. It's not, it doesn't make life easier, but there's more meaning in the shared experiences. And I think that's what I'm craving is just, I want my kids to experience parts of God's beautiful creation that we wouldn't get to experience
and
otherwise.
kind of what you said, like we were forced to spend time together. We noticed one thing: our grocery bill was insane while we were traveling. It was more than when we were home because, you know, our kids weren't at friends' houses eating, and we weren't going to this house and
Right.
eating. You know,
you have to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah,
Like,
all of us,
yeah,
6 of
all
us, every
together.
meal.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was
Yeah.
crazy. So things that we just didn't plan for that turned out to be like, wow, this is cool.
Right.
Interesting.
And
Interesting.
then getting to meet people
Were-
along the way is probably
Yeah.
such a cool experience.
Yes.
So many.
Were
Yeah.
there moments what were the difficult moments apart from like arguing that happened on the trip between the family? Because I want to find out that and if something did go wrong with your RV.
Oh, yeah, good question. So I would say probably the biggest hurdle was the whole schooling aspect. We kind of did like a virtual homeschool bridge program with my twins.
Oh, it didn't go smoothly? It went really smoothly for everybody in the rest of the country.
Right? I know. That's what I hear. I feel like,
Connections were great.
oh my gosh.
Instructions
Internet
were clear.
was
Abuse rates went up.
fantastic.
Oh man. No, and that's actually, that encouraged me. I'm like, well, it's not like it's any better back at home.
Right.
But it's just that learning curve. If then I'm like my kids were saying, I'm a mean teacher. I remember being in tears sometimes because I'm like, I'm trying to do the best I can. And in their minds, they had a great and positive public school experience when they were in school. And so then I'm feeling kind of like a failure as a mom. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so that the first semester, I would say, wasn't super smooth with schooling. Like Jaden didn't love her virtual school that she had picked. And so it just kind of felt like, man, this is hard. And in such a small amount of space, like she wanted a quiet space. I'm like, well, you go in the bedroom and close the door. And then you guys stay out here in the living area. And then Cohen is just a crazy 4-year-old kid. And
He's
so,
on the roof of the RV.
Yeah.
Yeah, while we're trying to do school
seriously,
with them. Yeah.
seriously. Like, so
Pretty much.
that was hard.
Did you
Can
guys have
only
to like,
imagine.
I'm going for a walk or something like that? I mean, I could imagine being crammed in this thing. Well, kind of like you said, everybody has a space that they're going to for a getaway.
Yeah.
Like maybe one person could go in the truck, right?
Yeah.
But like, I would imagine being like, okay, I just need to get away. Like right now in our house, it's like
Yeah.
each kid will go in a different room to watch TV, and I kind of like. I'm sure it's not
Yeah.
healthy, but I kind of like is I'm like, I just want to sit here after working,
Yep.
and I just want nobody to sit next to me for like an hour so I can watch something stupid on YouTube or
Yes.
Netflix, and
or
then just come
you
back.
watch Morses Go Mobile.
Morses Go
Yeah.
Mobile.
I just want to watch it by
There's gonna be a
myself.
lot of bleeps.
Those people are idiots. But I think we take that for granted, you know, that having that space in a house to kind of, you know, get away. Because that's for sure. Jaden would go lounge around on our bed. Because
Do you guys,
we
do you
had
guys
this,
have a lock on your master bedroom door?
Oh, so I knew that was question.
There is no lock on that
Once
door.
they
No
see
lock.
it once, they
Did
definitely
your
don't want to
kids
watch.
ask you a lot why the trailer was moving? Really?
Are our kids going to listen to this? No, they don't have to know about this, right?
No, they
No,
won't.
they don't have to know.
No, they have
Okay.
to punch in a pin code that only I give to listen to this.
To
episode.
listen to this episode. It's locked.
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't locked, but we had to be creative. And
You're right.
11 months of small movements
Small
is
movements.
difficult.
Difficult.
It's
Learn.
difficult. You can see me, you know, your mind works like mine, so you know I'm really having to think about what I'm saying.
The
here.
first time I
The
saw
words
you,
you're using.
the first time I saw you and met you, I told Irene, "Is like he's got strong hips." You know what I mean? Your pelvic bones are
For
pretty
sure.
solid.
Yeah.
And I've seen you thrust a kettlebell, and I was like, that guy gets the thrust.
Yeah. No
We'll
doubt about
thrust
it.
Amber to the moon.
So
Have
can
I
you,
been in physical therapy for my hip?
Yeah.
Like I'm just putting it together. Right in this
Oh, yep.
moment.
yeah.
Yep,
So imagine
that
going
is
from a
it.
kettlebell to a toothpick for
Right,
11 months.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Interesting.
Creative.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you have to be creative.
And
Yes,
creative on the
you're still
timing.
able to have intimacy as
yes.
as a married
Very
couple.
much so. Very often so. Yes.
But
much and often.
you have to be creative, and it's harder as they get older. But
Interesting.
yeah,
Now the kids are probably on the other side living, right?
Yeah, so
And
our
then
RV, I'll paint our listeners here kind of a picture. So it's a bumper pole. So we didn't go fifth wheel. We went with the bumper pole because we had a big long bed truck that we wanted to utilize the space in. Okay, so you got this massive bumper pole. It's 11,000 pounds, 39 feet long, and the back of it was a bunk room. That there's a big slide. There's 4 slide outs in the whole trailer. So the back room slid out. So each kid had their own bunk bed in it, and then they had their own bathroom in that room as well. So we had 2 bathrooms.
Nice.
And then in the middle, we had our living space, opposing slides, kitchen, and big living couch. But yeah, so the kids had their own door in their bunk room, and then we had a door on our bedroom.
Right.
And then all that space in between. So, it was hard to get away from each other. And that's, when you're camping, you
but
have
you
all the
use outside.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing is like outside
would
is
use
your
my one wheel.
playground.
Right.
You always
I like
get
that.
around. Yeah.
Your one.
Did you get the your one wheel? Was it the extended
XR.
ranch? Yeah, nice.
XR.
XR.
And then
Heck
we got 2 pints for the kids.
You did?
Yeah, dude. Best purchase we made the whole year for RVing because they're small. They fit, they don't take up a lot of space.
Everywhere.
And like you have one, so
I had one, yeah.
Had,
He
you
does
got
not
rid of
have
it?
one.
Okay. Well, with how far they go, it was a great mode of transportation for like when she would take the truck to work or something. I could run to the grocery store with it.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, if she's taking the truck to work and somebody, God forbid, has an accident, you need
Which
to take them
we
to
did.
the ER or something
Yeah.
like that. Like, what do you
Yeah.
do? You're like, well, we're
She
Ubering.
Ubered to work more often than taking the truck to work.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a new experience,
Smart.
and
Yeah.
I got to know some of my Uber drivers really, really well
Really?
because they were like repeat
same route,
drivers.
Well,
Yeah.
there's not that many Uber drivers at 5:30 in the morning or whatever it was,
Right.
6 in the morning.
And that was a
like,
whole new
"Hi, Amber,
experience
nice to
too,
see you
to
again."
like have to Uber to work, and
It was like
But,
a 15, 20
we
minute
did it.
drive. Yeah. But yeah, so I usually had the truck, but when I didn't, we were right
he
next
made
to a
an
Winn-Dixie
excuse like,
grocery
"Oh,
store.
we need to go to get more butter," and all of a sudden, like he's
shoot.
gone
Oh,
on
I
his
gotta
one
use
wheel.
It
the
was
one
so fun on the one wheel that
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I got to run and grab bread. Oh, shoot. Oh, no more bread. Now we got to get butter,
Yeah,
I could see you holding like ketchup. You're like, I'm going to put this back because I'm going to come back.
I'm gonna pretend I forgot
Yes.
it.
yeah.
It was a blast.
Any excuse to
Hey.
be on the one wheel.
One wheel purchased in April of 2020.
Okay.
April 2021. So this year.
Uh-huh.
Till now, I have 750 miles on my one wheel.
Jeez.
I don't know if you
know.
tracked
Is
your
that a
miles
lot
on
or
yours.
a
No,
little?
I think when
It's
I
a
bought
ton.
mine.
Oh,
It's a ton of
I
miles.
think in like a year that I owned mine, I think I put like
10.
150.
Oh.
Yeah, probably.
I was gonna say
I mean,
10.
I'm telling you, I use that thing like crazy. So it's
Yeah.
actually at Future Motion right
We
now,
need
getting
to-
a new tire put on.
And your
So,
kids love
love
him
they
too?
Love 'em.
Yeah.
They love them. They haven't gotten
my boys
hurt or-
wanted some, but
We need to get a sponsorship.
Why'd
for
you get rid of
for-
yours?
Because
do you remember when he broke his arm?
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't get rid of it
Oh,
because
I do.
when I broke it, I got the extended range after that. So the first one was the Plus, which
That's
was
what
like
the XR stands for. I didn't realize that. Okay.
five miles was the plus one. And then once I broke it, I was like, well, I hated that range fatigue where you're always nervous about running out of battery juice on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So I was like, I want to get this next one. So I got the next one. And then it just kind of got one of those things where you're just by yourself because nobody else has one.
Well, hey, I'm here for 4 months. You should get one.
No, I bought something else that's kind of like a one wheel.
Go on.
Well, I have a Porsche in the garage.
Oh, okay. Were you not going to say
He
that?
does that too. I forgot the ketchup. I'm gonna
It has
run
4
back
wheels
and get it. Yeah.
and costs a little more than $1,900.
But like,
Not much, though. Not much.
There was a small period where like a few of our buddies, like Ryan and Olive and Bo, they had different kinds of electric kind of skateboards, and we're gonna plan like, hey, we're gonna put the kids down and go like ride the streets of like suburbia.
Ride the streets of
But then we did it like
Meridian.
once, and then
And then you realize you're dads and you have kids.
Right.
And
Yeah,
But
it's
see,
just
he
you.
likes that he gets to go by himself. You
Yeah.
didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I could see that because even being here, I don't ride my one wheel now.
Right.
But I used it
Yeah.
all the time when we were traveling. And when you're in
Different
RV parks,
place.
getting around and
Yep.
taking laundry
Yeah.
to the, all
And
of it.
even
So
it's great for sailing too because like
Yep.
when you're docked in
a
a
lot of
marina-
sailors use those or electric bikes to
Yeah.
get
Oh.
around. In
Yeah.
the
Electric bikes are
port.
super popular right now. I could see getting into electric bike just because Some of them are smaller too.
because you don't have to do anything
You don't have to
physical.
do anything. Yeah.
You literally don't have to do
We got to
anything.
watch the ticker. I mean, we're getting older.
for sure. Well, you can pedal if you want.
If you want, right?
Yes,
but who's going to pedal?
absolutely.
People like to have the option.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
That's it.
That's hilarious. So what happened with the trailer? Did it break? You said.
So the world of RVs, you know this. They're not built
Indestructible.
very good.
Oh, we're going the other way.
Yeah, no, they're just not. Like it's an 11,000 pound house that you drag all over the road and it bumps around, so things break
Right.
all the time. I always say that because I think a lot of people buy them and then they think the thing is like they need to take it back because something breaks, and it's like
Right.
no, it's
gonna-
made with like tiny little. I don't know how to describe wood like you do, but
Oh,
MDF?
brad nails, little brad nails.
yeah, like tiny little things that
finishing nails. Yeah.
yeah, right. Like, it's not made to be that strong. So yeah, I was constantly fixing just little things,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like the things that hold the cupboard door closed, but we didn't have any major problems at all.
No.
We had a tire blowout once, which was we were on the freeway. We were able to pull off pretty quick, so that was fine. We got all new tires.
It was scary, but like I just pushed out the slides and fed all the kids a snack while he
Yeah.
like, worked on the tire.
Yeah,
That's nice.
A tip for you excuse me. The tip for you RVers is a lot of those RVs come with just real garbage tires, trash tires straight from the factory. And so they call them, I don't know if we're politically correct, China bombs, because they're Chinese tires and they will blow at some point. So they
We call
China
them
bombs.
Wuhan bombs.
Yeah, Wuhan bombs.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
the China virus bombs. That's what they are. And so smart to change out your tires right when you get them, even though you think, oh, these are brand new, they'll last.
Really?
They won't. It's,
That's-
especially if you go on a long trip.
Good to know.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I
Good to know.
did realize. So we just recently got a new camper from Vicious, and like I would hear stories because we knew a guy that worked there, and he's like, I'm having all these people bring their campers in, and they're complaining about small things like wallpaper's peeling off, and they're bringing
Yeah,
that in to
right.
get that fixed. A little trim piece came off the dining room table, and they're bringing it to get work done. And I was like, well, yeah, you kind of expect to be like, yeah, you got to
Yes.
do that.
Well, yeah.
It's-
Did you pull it down a dirt road? And I mean, you probably went to some camping spot. You know,
Right,
it's
I know.
Constant, like, but you just have to have your expectations set. And the next worst thing that happened to us, there was two. That was the tire. Then I was hooking up the truck late one night, like at 11 o'clock, to leave the next morning early, and I made the mistake of not putting up the rear stabilizers before I lifted the tongue of the trailer. Are you tracking with me here? I know we're on camera.
To do a little
Yeah.
seesaw.
So I lifted the tongue up to put it on the truck, and while the stabilizers were down touching the ground,
it
just crunched the
Crunched the
stabilizers,
stabilizer,
just
yeah.
bent them in half. So that was like $450 later. I had to
I
replace
almost
them.
did that
Yikes.
on the camper, but then I
But then he didn't.
I had clarity,
Yeah.
and I didn't.
Good job.
Wow,
I was being an
Thank
idiot,
you.
and then I stopped being
so
an idiot.
encouraging.
Man, that could just. give some
Did
of
you
that
guys
to
have?
Brandon.
I'm trying to remember. One of your kids broke a bone, right?
Yeah, Hudson.
Okay,
he broke
yeah,
a bone
it was
on a
Hudson.
merry-go-round in Largo, Florida.
A merry-go-round.
A merry-go-round of all places, and we had just bought the one wheels. I was surprising him with them that next day.
No way.
Literally, they came in the day before.
Yeah.
And he breaks his arm. Like, dude, this thing was. If you saw the picture,
I saw
his
the
arm was
picture,
an
yeah.
S. His arm was
Oh,
like literally an S.
it-
It was
yeah.
close to like a compound fracture. But
Jeez.
and she was
Ugh.
at work, and I had no idea where to go, and that was an
And
experience.
so, how did you do that? So she had the truck. You had no idea.
No, I had the
You
truck.
had the
She
truck.
Ubered that
Oh,
day,
luckily you had the
luckily.
truck.
And you had to Google where the hospital is.
And I was about an
He
hour.
didn't know. He called me. He was panicked. He didn't. I mean,
let's be honest. He called Karen first.
Oh yeah, he called his mom. He called his mom. Mom,
I do. Did you go to the hospital that she was at?
No, because
No,
we were an hour
Actually,
from there.
they told me
Oh.
not to. They didn't have pediatrics at the hospital I was.
Her
working.
coworkers were like, no, don't bring him here, because I asked him that. Do I bring him to you? And
Yeah, and they were like, no, have him take him to All Children's in St. Petersburg, Florida. And that's the other thing. It's like you have no idea where you're at. You don't know where the nearest hospital is.
no, so I'm driving in a truck with literally, I mean, that
His
was his arm, like in an S like that. It was the craziest thing I've seen.
Oh, that makes me.
And we walk into the ER, and seriously, the ER is packed full of probably COVID people, right? And all these, it's like literally.
Well,
packed.
it's kids.
Well,
so
kids, but
probably not.
well,
all
probably
COVID.
not COVID, but whatever. It was packed. But I walk up to the desk, and he sees Hudson's arm, and the guy's like, he gets on the walkie-talkie. Hey, I've got a arm that's in the shape of an S out here, and he goes, "We'll get you right back."
I'll get you right back. Was he freaking out?
At
was
that
he kind
point,
of
he was kind of
in
stable.
shock?
I would say
Yeah.
stable at that point, and he was resting it in the truck. When I was like sitting at the table, not near where they were playing in the playground, and Britton, his twin sister, they're 11. She comes running, Dad, Hudson broke his arm. I'm like, no. And so I go walk up to where he's at. He's laying on the ground next to the merry-go-round, and I see his arm, and I'm like, how do you know it's broken?
What?
He's just
Are you
doing
sure?
that.
Yeah.
And then I freaked out. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's watching us, staring at
Oh my
us,
gosh,
and
I
I'm
would
like,
freak
I
out.
pick him up, and we're just.
But he had enough
really
adrenaline
tripping.
where he's like kind of fine.
He was
or
crying, yeah, but I think, yeah, he got to the point. He was pretty brave,
It was
actually. He
tough.
did
Yep.
good.
That
So-
sounds like from Amber's side of the family. You know, the brave.
yeah,
Brave.
for sure.
Bravery.
Yeah. They had to
Yes.
reset. He didn't need surgery. They reset his arm. Like
Oh, really?
They had to put him under, and they reset his
Yeah.
arm and put
Like
it back.
under that
Surgery?
continuous X-ray where they could see it, and then
Yeah, it was
super
nuts.
cool.
So,
That's
but
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
getting accidents like that on the road are scary because you're in a total
Yeah.
foreign place. You don't know. You know, here you would know what hospital to go to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
I could just
So-
imagine how
Primary
much
help.
extra stress. Primary help.
Yeah, and they're like, no.
They're like,
Here's a Tylenol. The hospital's down.
he doesn't have a
Yeah.
runny nose. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So you're selling things off. You're gonna get this camp, or you're gonna get this sailboat, which is you're gonna get a crap ton of money for a house in today's market.
Yep. Hopefully,
Hopefully.
we're
Right.
hoping
You're gonna
so.
Oh, I'm
buy
sure you
this
will.
puppy out, and then you're not gonna worry about parking anywhere because you're just gonna be sailing from one place.
We
to
will
another.
not. We will not own a vehicle. We'll even sell my truck. We're gonna sell my truck, and once we get down there, we're gonna buy a burner car here, like a old Honda Odyssey, and
In case you got to do
Just
a drug
here?
deal.
Yeah.
like-
yeah, right,
burner
yeah.
car.
But
Brandon's
that,
trying to make like every decision to like humble us. It's
Yeah.
like
at this point,
Okay,
I could care
sure.
less. Like we'll
Yeah.
drive whatever. I don't even care anymore.
Consider either the Daewoo or like a Del Sol.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
should-
Daewoo's are good. I
Daewoo.
forget about Daewoo.
Where are they
Those
going to put all their
solid.
kids?
yeah,
Isn't that like a
seriously.
tiny?
I literally just
tiny.
went and checked out a 2008 Honda Odyssey with 166,000 miles on it the other day.
There you go.
Didn't check out though. It had hail damage. I wasn't into that. I'm always thinking about resale. You know what I'm
There
saying?
you go.
Resale, yeah. You got to have that. You got to have it.
But yeah, so
what do you
that
think a boat's gonna cost you?
400 to 500,000.
And then what are the living quarters and something like that? Similar to an RV?
No, dude, it's gonna be like a mansion. I'm
Really?
not even kidding.
Really?
It's gonna feel so different.
Mansion.
Well, no, I mean, to us living
comparing
in
it to
350
the
square
RV,
feet, that's what it's
yeah.
gonna
Yeah,
feel like.
way
I
more
mean,
space than the RV.
There's 4 staterooms, is obviously what they're calling a boat. So four bedrooms and 4
wow,
bathrooms.
I didn't realize they were that big.
They each have their own
Yeah, they
bathroom.
can be.
I'm thinking of like a tiny
You're thinking of a tile sailboat. Well, I'm talking about a 45-foot sailing
Yeah.
catamaran. So you've got 2 holes that are getting connected with like a bridge deck, right?
Oh, wow.
And so you got the galley,
Oh,
kitchen,
okay.
and living space in the bridge deck. You have all this outside living space off the back that's covered
With the
and then-
helicopter pad?
Yeah,
Yeah.
helicopter pad. So you guys can fly
So you
in.
guys-
You
you
can bring
guys
your
are getting a
Porsche.
yacht.
Spot for your Porsche.
yes, it is considered a yacht.
It's considered a yacht.
Brandon,
Why don't you
please.
tell
Brandon, please. It's a Porsche.
Oh,
Why don't you tell them what kind of
Like a
boats we're
Daewoo?
looking at, just in case anyone wants to be like, okay,
if somebody wants to see a picture of one like a 2015-16 Fontaine Peugeot Helia 44. That would be
Peugeot?
It's a French
Peugeot.
Peugeot. Fontaine Peugeot or a Leopard 45, Leopard 46, Leopard 47.
Okay.
So yeah, if
Okay.
you get a
I'm gonna
picture,
Google it.
yeah, no, they're sweet, and
Yeah.
it's kind of mind blowing. What it's like an apartment on
And it's
water.
sail only, or is there a little trolling motor as well?
Nope. So you got a massive sail, and then you have 2 auxiliary diesel engines.
Okay.
So they're like 55 horsepower diesels. They'll cruise along at like 8 knots.
Is that what usually you do? You'll get out to sea, and then most of the time you're just using wind. And then obviously when you're getting close into port or whatever, you
Yep.
pull the sail down, turn the diesel
Exactly. So you'll use those.
See,
to
I'm
get to where
certified
you're going.
basically
You're
right now.
basically
Yeah.
certified.
Yeah.
You
Good go.
sail as much as you can. I mean, we've seen videos on YouTube where people are crossing the Atlantic and they have no wind, 0 wind. You know, and so they're having to use their engines.
Is that when they say they're lost at sea?
Yeah. No, that's when they stop and drop the sails and they jump into the water in the middle of the Atlantic. Can you imagine that? And they'll use like a rope swing.
This
They'll
is
sit-
not safe.
I know. They'll set
Are
up a
you
rope
excited?
swing, dude.
Are you excited, Amber?
I mean, that
I'm
sounds
doing
like
it. That's when you get the
absolutely
drone out, my
terrifying.
man. That's when the drone's flying.
So tell me,
Yeah.
so that was my next thing. Okay, so you're the Morses. Oh,
I'm
oh,
wondering
God,
about
another
like
time.
cell phone
Morses-
Oh,
service.
wait, hey, let's be
and-
quiet. He's gonna plug
Yeah.
Morses Go Mobile.
Yeah.
Okay,
What is the name
you're
again of your
editing-
guys' podcast
you're-
or your
Horses
YouTube
go.
channel? Yeah.
Horses go. Hey, hey.
Horses go trawling. You are documenting everything, and you're
Yep.
putting on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
What is okay? So I know your workflow because I know
You know how this works.
I know the humble beginnings of like editing videos with a laptop. But what have you been learning about being a content creator in the infancy stage?
An
Bro.
influencer,
An
if
influencer.
you
Bro.
will.
Well, holy cow, dude! Editing. Well, I already knew. I have some background in video and editing, so I know it takes forever. But trying
Having
to
to do all
stay
of it.
up to date on it, yeah, and to try to produce a weekly video is a nightmare.
It's really
Do you,
hard.
you don't do a weekly, right?
We do 3 a month.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Man,
Shout out to Kyle.
Shout out
Kyle.
to
So you're the
Yes.
editor, huh?
Yeah. A little.
Okay, well, I'm going to get your contact info for when I have 500,000 subscribers after this podcast.
Yeah.
Kyle
What's the name of
signed
your
a
YouTube channel again?
non-competitive.
Non-compete.
He's not paying you. Let's be honest, he's not paying you that much. But yeah, no, obviously editing and staying with the content. Like right now, we've been home for a month. Where are we at? How long have we been home? You know, whatever. We've been home for a month, and I'm.
He doesn't let her.
I know.
Well, she wasn't going to say anything.
No, I was because
Speak.
I was. Yeah, we've been home for about a month.
All of that
Thank
was
you,
going to be
Amber,
right. Oh my gosh.
Let me do it on my terms.
Okay, remember that proverb? A wife is like a leaky roof. Don't be a nag. No.
Don't be that.
Your subscribers are doing.
I know.
This right now.
Well, I'm getting the good ones now, right?
Yeah.
It's like you want the ones that like
Want to
guns
stick
and, like-
around. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been back for a month, dude, and like on our channel, we're still in Maine. Like, does that make sense?
Oh,
you're
yeah,
still in
because you're
Maine.
that
We've
far
been
ahead.
back for a month, but because I got behind because we started moving so fast and
Yeah.
traveling so much that I just was like, I can't keep up.
What are
Yeah,
you doing?
yeah.
I mean, she's working. What do you'll take care of the
Right
kids
now?
a little bit, but no, but
Right.
okay. So content creating, like, what's keeping you from like daily vlogging or something like that?
Because I think for me, anyways, I don't know how it is for you. I need space. I need a room like this where the doors can be shut. I need it to be quiet.
Right.
And once I have to like get into that creative
like,
mindset, I have to get into that creative mode. And once I get into it, I don't want to stop. Like I don't want to be interrupted.
Right.
And so, because I mean, for your videos are a little bit different, I think, in that you're showing a project, right?
Okay.
Well, I guess maybe they are similar, but I try my videos. I try to make them each one of us telling a story, right?
Right, a
Right.
3-part
And so they are,
narrative.
yeah,
right?
exactly. I want it to be a story. I don't want it just to be like vlogging, like, hey,
Today.
here, doing the dishes. Like, I want there to be a storyline. So it takes some time to kind of create that. But yeah, I need the space. It's hard for me to work in that 350 square feet when everybody's right,
And
there.
then,
So you're putting that
you're
together.
still being a parent, and a
Yeah,
husband.
for sure.
and-
So you need the space to put the project together, and figure out the narrative. But what about shooting the content? Are you always like that's one thing that I can never shut off. Thankfully now with kind of like we have like working hours. So I'm always like, okay, we're done filming at 3 every day. We're cool. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
But like before that, it was always like I'm doing something and I'd be like, oh, this would be a good like video for whatever, or a good small piece of content.
Sure.
And it sounds exhausting all the time. So do you feel like you're always like on, like the mode is always turned on, mode is turned off, or what are you doing?
I will allow my wife to answer that.
I mean, I would say.
Thank you for
I would,
allowing her.
Yeah, thank you. Wow. I would say
They hate me.
there's times where I'm pushing it and I'm saying, hey, I think we need to video this. But I think what a lot of people might assume is that you're videoing all the time. But we only strategically video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And so,
when you have a part of a storyline.
Oh,
yeah.
Would
Like
you
so
say 20 to 30% of the time, maybe?
less, I think less than that, like right now. But, and I think that just allows us to have a little bit more family life balance of like, and even for our kids, like we're showing our kids. And I think in my heart, like I don't want to exploit my children. And so,
Well, depends on how much money we're talking. If we get up to
Depends.
that
It always
500,000 subscriber
depends.
range,
Yeah.
10 G's
Right?
will make me.
I
yeah.
don't care.
10 G's is 10 G's.
But thankfully, we have our kids' best interests at heart, and
Right.
we're the producers, so we show what we want to show.
Yeah.
And so I think that helps us to be able. But there's absolute times where we're like, oh my gosh, we should have totally videoed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like to constantly be videoing yourselves
Yeah,
constantly.
you definitely get fatigued.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I think I probably got that once we got to that main point of the trip. Got some editing and videoing fatigue.
Right.
And there's some points of our trip where we have no video content because I'm just like, I don't want to do it.
Did you have a schedule that you're like, we have to do 3 a month, 2 a month? Did you have something like that?
We tried. At first we were like, hey, we really should be producing like a video a week, but that would have really taken away from our experience of our trip.
How long did it take?
So fast.
When you were editing your videos,
Yeah.
how long did it take you to edit one quality video that you uploaded?
I think usually about 3 days.
Yeah. See, so that's what it would be too.
Kyle,
I'd
what's
say
it take you? 20 hours total? When you keep track?
It depends. Some are like 50 plus, and
Yeah.
it just depends how big the project.
How big the project
How
is.
big the project is. Yeah.
Yeah, and
But you also think about it this way. When he does it, he'll tell me like he'll throw everything on timeline and it starts with like 4 hours and he has to bring it down to 18 minutes, which is like,
Yes.
once he gets to an hour, he sounds like he's like, oh, this is like a lot of
Yeah.
really good stuff, but you
Yep.
still have to trim the fat and trim the fat.
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, and I think a lot of people that
Constant.
are just watch YouTube and consume the content don't necessarily know how much goes into it, and so
Absolutely.
what I've learned from that is I appreciate you know, when a YouTuber starts to make money. It's like you're getting paid to create it's like a work of art. Like you're producing a TV show. And so I look forward to the day that I can make some money.
Is that where do you prioritize that, like content creating and building this YouTube to become something that, you know, pays your bills? Is that what's more higher than priority? The experiences? Is it the growth of the YouTube channel, or would you say both are equal?
I'd say for the trip, for the RV trip, it was more about the experiences and the time with the family. You know, I think that was more of it. But as we go into the RV thing, into the sailing thing, it's gonna be like I need a job. You know what I mean? Like, and so and I love doing it. It's like my hobby is now meeting my work. You know, and so so it's
somebody else did that.
Yeah,
it's one of the greatest feelings in the world when people like ask you like, hey, you know, yes, it becomes work, right?
Yes.
Every day to show up, it's work, but it's the greatest work.
Yeah.
Like it's I'll have like every probably Monday or something like that. You know, when you come out of the weekend, I have a little anxiety of like, okay, we have to plan this and what are we going to do about that and the storyline and this and the other thing. But then I stop and I go, wait, but I could just say, hey, like Kyle, let's just show up an hour later. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have that freedom.
For sure. You can take the pressure off yourself.
Correct.
Because you're putting it on yourself.
So it's the greatest in the world, but there's also like to get to that point, there has to be like people will ask me, hey, what's the secret? Like they'll DM me and I'm like, they'll be like, I put out 7 videos and none of them work. Like, I don't get it. What's the thing? I was like, dude, you
put out 7 more.
You have to obsess.
Put out 70 more.
You have to obsess so bad about this. Like, it took me 68 videos before I got my first paycheck. I was like, you don't tell me 7 videos. Like you did.
Yes.
You have to lose sleep. I remember living with a perspective. Gary Vee. Everybody knows Gary Vee.
Yeah.
He used to always talk about his entrepreneurship. It's like you're one video away from making it. And that is the most truest thing in the world. Because
you've got to keep thinking that, right?
Like, I had that one video, and that one video lit fire to 5 other videos. And next thing you know,
then next thing you know, you're taking a naked picture in a shower.
In the shower, and that's what my kids will remember me by.
Which I have to give to you, hands down, was so creative. I loved that. Yeah. That was so good.
You didn't like the one where I was wearing a pink apron and I was butt naked at the grill?
Oh, the grill one. That one did well too.
Yeah, that was good too.
Yeah, I did one with a shower, and I had my second shower that I did a towel around my chest like a gallows.
Yeah.
And then a towel on my hair. And then from below, I think it was her idea. She's like, you should put like a black square sticking straight down. So it's like 17-inch long black rectangle going down between my legs.
Well, you know, if you want to build a DIY like construction channel full of women watching, that's what you do.
Do you know the funniest thing about it? I'll have people tease me about like how provocative some of my thumbnails are. 91% is male audience that I have. 91%.
So
there's 91 confused
guys. I would love to know the demographic of those men. You know what I'm saying?
We should see some of the comments.
Yeah, I should see some comments. I have like requests for feet pictures and like dirty underwear sends.
Feet pictures.
Yeah. I'm surprised the feet picture shocks you, not the dirty underwear.
I mean, everyone's got dirty underwear.
So one thing you said it took you 68 videos before you got your first paycheck.
Correct. Now that's not AdSense, right? I would make a little bit there.
Okay.
But for me to like start landing brands to pay me to do these videos, that's when it finally started taking off.
Okay. Because I remember thinking how cool it was when we got our first check from Google AdSense. So I'm like, $150. And Amber brings it back. She's like, do you know how many hours that took you?
Yeah. Well, I still remember the day that I had my first like $216 YouTube AdSense check. And then I just found somebody who would like edit for that $200 like a video a month, like somebody who's not a YouTuber, not a videographer, nobody. He just knows how to use Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
And I would give him that, and because I always like said, hey, I promise that when more money comes in, I will give you more money. So he just kind of did that thing for me. And I remember I hit 216, and then from that point on, it went to like 150. 105.
Yeah, mine's gone down too.
And then I told her, I was like, hey man, I can't do this. And like, it was really disheartening. And then it was constantly like, Irene would be like, hey, the kids are going to this birthday party. Do you want to come? I was like, I can't. I'm making this video. I have to do one video a month.
Or you're working at the hospital.
Or I'm working at the hospital. I was like, hey, and I'm out. Jack has a baseball, t-ball thing. You want to come? I was like, no, I have to finish this project because I'm doing one video a week. And you have to have that level of obsession. I haven't met too many people who were able to do that, grow it, while having like incredible healthy family dynamic.
Yeah.
I now
Casey Neistat did it, right?
But then he's like, at the cost of what?
Right, yeah.
He did a
It
video every
costed
day,
his
right?
family.
Can you believe that?
every day.
Every day.
He did a great. If you want to see the
behind,
behind the scenes of it, Bert Kreischer, which is a stand-up comedian, has a podcast called Birdcast, and you can look him on YouTube too. And Casey was his guest like 4 months ago, and Bert is a super fan of Casey, like we all were. But they were dissecting all the stories when Casey was coming up.
Yeah.
And Casey, like he was sharing how like he didn't click monetize on his videos for like 3 years or 2 years. And just because of like he wanted to be this authentic artist, right?
That's
and not
crazy.
selling out.
I know,
He
right?
said he did that up to like 6 million million views that were put out.
working for nothing.
He was like, I was such an idiot, and I would never tell that to anybody. He goes, but then he finally got the thing figured out, and he was doing
That's
it. But
hilarious
But
and
the
sad.
level of the expense that it all came from, yes, a marriage cost him everything. Now he moved to California. He's like I'm smoking too much weed now. Like,
and he hasn't done a video in like
Yeah.
6 months now.
He's
A
like,
few
I don't
months?
want
Yeah.
He's like, I
But
don't
he
want
doesn't
to.
have
stop.
to. His
No.
other
Doesn't
videos
have
do so
to.
well.
Well, he's like, I don't want
Yeah.
to do anything. I
doesn't.
just want to just exist, because before all I did was create. And so now I'm finally in like the healthiest life cycle, because now I'm like, okay, I'm getting good sleep. I'm eating well. We have a filming schedule that I don't have to think outside of that. Like 3 o'clock hits, dad's done working. You know what I mean? Like this healthy like lifestyle
for sure.
dynamic that now the machine is built, the beast is created. I just have to keep feeding it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And but to get there, I think there has to be a level of obsession that I don't think a lot of people understand.
For sure.
you
Right.
know?
Are you
And
guys
I'm at
creating?
the point where I have to hit that. So I need to get back into the obsession and start
Yes.
creating.
One
again.
video a
But-
week. Or I'm sorry, you're one video away. That is the carrot that's being
Yeah.
dangled in
Yeah.
front of you.
Yeah.
Are
but-
you guys creating content during this time?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, we've paused, I'd say, for the last couple of weeks, but we've gotten some snippets of us, unpacking boxes and like going through all, we're setting up for a
So
garage
keeping
sale this
that
weekend.
like schedule
Yeah,
still,
exactly.
not losing that like
kinda-
momentum.
I see us having a video kind of after the travel stuff of like catching up to now.
Yeah.
And
People will like seeing that.
yeah, and just kind of what we're doing to get ready for sailing and stuff.
Yeah.
So
That'll be great. In fact,
Yeah.
I think the more you document of prepping for things like that, Kyle just recently got me on a YouTube channel called Expedition Overland. Is that what it's called? And it's these guys, it's high production, but what they do is they build a vehicle, like overlanding vehicle. Do you know what overlanding is?
Oh,
I mean,
those
or
crazy
not
expensive
Amber, sorry.
like,
It's like camping
four-wheel drive
in a car.
vehicle type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, they'll take like 4Runners
Oh,
and
we saw one of those.
Yeah, but they're
and they'll
like
put a
crazy.
tent
Yeah.
on top, and there's a grill inside of it, but like they basically compact, minimalistic camping, basically
Yeah.
living.
Yeah.
And so what they'll do is they'll build a vehicle like that, and then they'll just do this like we're going to Argentina or whatever, and they're documenting like we just had a flat tire, and then our goal is to get to this, and we're losing sunlight. But then they'll do videos like prepping what to prep for living out of the vehicle for whatever.
People love that too.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that would be a really fun thing to document. Are you going to keep the same? Well, obviously you should keep the same title, right?
Yeah.
Morses Go
Well,
Mobile.
What is it
I mean,
again?
maybe I think
Morses
we need
Go
to go to
Mobile?
lunch sometime. So I need to talk to you about that. I'm trying to figure all that out. But
You should.
I think keeping it. But we're getting to the point where eventually I need to go to merch. I need to have some merch, and I want to we're going to redesign the graphic and start thinking ahead on that kind of stuff. So
A piece of
we
advice
have to name our boat too.
I will give
Oh,
you.
yeah.
I say you should be
You
the
should have,
classic
like,
Morses
a-
Go Mobile. I think that's such a generic.
it, yeah.
I think if you don't. I made this
catchy,
mistake in
too.
the beginning. I was consumed by so many things that need to be done, and merch and website and so and so and so on for affiliate links. And
Yeah.
honestly, end of the day, that's just stretching yourself so thin. Like focus on. Like right now, I finally
Midnight to 1.
midnight to 1.
Focus
Okay.
on midnight to
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
And
And
then
you'll be happy.
we're back to work. Focus on like the things that work right now. And then when you do those things that work, then you finally, because the problem is when I got into YouTube, I just mimicked what other people did.
Yeah.
I actually remember some videos where I did, like I'll get a lot of comments saying like, oh, this guy's trying to be Casey Neistat.
Yeah.
Like I'll put,
well, so was everybody else.
Right,
Who cares?
right.
so you're just mimicking people
You're
what worked
trying
for
to figure
them.
out what works.
But when you start figuring out what worked for you, so like, turns out if you shoot this kind of content, more people like it than that. So I'm here. I was making this little cell phone holder or a little pour over coffee stand thing, like small project, but nobody watched it.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, like we did a fire pit in the backyard. And all of a sudden, like, oh, wow, people like this stuff.
Yeah.
And so you find that lane and you stay in it. You don't go affiliate links and merch and website. That just takes you away from doing what works.
Yeah.
I just recently got my, they appointed me a YouTube partner manager. So like somebody at YouTube who basically breaks down your channel with you. Like they sit down with you every month.
What does that happen after what? How many subscribers?
They reach out to you.
Oh, okay. Just when.
So I'm at almost 600,000 on
Yeah.
YouTube. They just reached out a couple of weeks ago. And then I think just last week, because I think on Facebook, I'm at like, what am I at Facebook?
She could care less.
I think
Come
I'm
on,
like-
Irina, don't you?
I think
I
I'm
just
like-
look at the paychecks every month.
I
you
think
know
I'm
what I'm saying?
like I think I'm like 400,000 on Facebook, but they just appointed the same person for Facebook,
Okay.
and that's what they do is they sit down with you and they say, from all these videos, we saw there's an incredible engagement that went up on these, but not on these. So what happened?
Oh, that's
that
cool.
was wrong.
Yeah.
So you should be doing the same thing to you.
Yeah.
It's like look at your videos that worked well and be like, what made those work well and not these, and then do more of that.
Yeah.
And then once you keep staying in that lane, then you see the audience, you start having a finger on the pulse and be like, oh, there's actually fans. And then you could think Patreon and you can merch.
Yeah, right, sure.
But merch is just something that you're going to be throwing out money right now. You're going to have
Yeah.
7 people buy a shirt and that's it. No, I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
no,
not,
yeah.
that's not to
No,
knock
that's
down
so
on you,
true.
But that's just, but then you just wasted
Yes.
all this bandwidth
And
on
the time.
creating merch. You know, focus on just creating that content that works. And I think that'll get you to the dance. And obsess.
I love you.
I love you more.
Good advice.
Throwing
No,
out
that is
free
good. That
advice.
is good.
Kyle, how long have we been going for? An hour and a half now?
Yeah.
This might be the
Look at
longest
us.
podcast
I
we've ever done.
know.
Really?
Yeah.
We've covered a lot.
This
I
is great.
know.
It was
This was
nice.
fun.
I like
It's
this a
like-
lot. And
You
nobody's
guys want us
drinking
back next
alcohol, which
week,
is
or-
great.
We all have water.
Look at hands not shaking. This
Nope,
is great.
we're doing good.
That's
Yeah.
great. Well, let's start wrapping this up. I will give you the honor of plugging it for the last time if you haven't
The
found
first
that.
time, if
Well,
you will.
Yeah, so YouTube channel Mr. Build It.
Yeah.
Just a great YouTube channel, DIY.
Just, yeah.
It's really
all
good
sorts
stuff.
of stuff.
No, I don't want to plug it again. I mean, follow. We're on Instagram and
Yeah.
Facebook and all the
And
places.
everything is.
Is it Morses Go Mobile on Instagram
Morses
as well?
Go Mobile.
And
Yep.
then Facebook, YouTube.
Facebook,
You're going to
YouTube.
start putting up more videos frequently.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, I mean, we've got 34 videos up there, I think, right now.
Perfect.
So you got plenty to go up there and
Yeah.
follow our journey, get caught up, and then we'll start getting into the sailing world too.
Go binge watch. And when
Yeah.
can people expect the first, at least, prepping video for the sailboat to come out?
before Christmas.
Oh, you know what's a great video, and because thumbnails are everything, secondary to good content, is you should do a thumbnail, be like, I sold my house and bought a boat instead.
Ooh.
Yes.
Like I sold off everything, and then have
Yeah.
the picture of the
Right.
house, and then like you next to that would be pretty
And put the
cool.
boat in the thumbnail.
I
Also-
mean, they say clickbait, but it kind of like
have
a lot
to
of times
kind of a
it
little
is.
bit.
I
Yeah,
know you're
at
good
least a
at
little.
editing and all that stuff, but there's also people better than you at certain things. So what I would do if I were you, this is what I do with thumbnails. Thumbnails get you to the dance, right?
Yeah.
So take good pictures and then go on Fiverr. It's the best 17
Yeah,
bucks
been on
you'll ever
Fiverr.
spend.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I have the same guy I always go to, and I basically tell him and what to do, and he puzzles it all together.
So
Or
is that
sometimes-
you had him imported from the Philippines or something? Is that
Yeah.
what happened?
He's learning English. Yeah.
He's really good. He's getting better.
He's
Kyle.
really white.
Yeah. He gets paid in coconuts. That stuff all helps with everything.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Make it all flashy.
So
and-
there's Fiverr people who just make thumbnails. Is
They
that-
just make thumbnails. They
Okay.
just make intros.
Yeah.
Intro to your YouTube video. They just, in fact, for podcasting, there's one I looked up yesterday. They'll take podcasting audio and they'll clean it up if there's peaks and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
like,
And
audio
it just
engineers, everything's on Fiverr.
Saves, yeah.
Everything
Great.
on
sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Except for it's not $5 anymore.
Fiverr. Well,
I know.
It's always different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always
when
different.
it first started.
Cool. Well,
Oh, is that what it's called? Fiverr?
Yes,
Oh,
everything was $5 when it first started.
it was, wasn't it? That
Yeah.
was a selling point.
Yep.
That's
did
hilarious.
But
not
then
know
people
that.
realize they don't want to work for free. Anyways,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
wrap this up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for hanging out with you guys.
Yeah,
thanks for the
this is
invite.
great.
This is great.
I'm looking forward to seeing your next adventure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank
All right.
you.
Morses Go Mobile. Go check them out. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.